Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Lack of Focus, episode 72. Shall we play a game? I am your host, Ed Horton, and alongside me tonight, one Mr. Sean Dorsey. Sean, how are you feeling tonight, my friend?
Oh, it's just a world of good. We'll just leave it at that.
Is it okay to say that you're fresh from a surgery?
Yeah,
Well, you've said it now, so if it's
yeah, you
not,
said it now, so we're
Good.
good there. Yeah, no, I had surgery on my right hand, so now it matches the left. So
Now they're both matching.
I
All right,
can
and of
I can
course,
feel it tightening up already. Sean was talking about it, so it's gonna
I
stretch it
know.
out, man.
I know. Maybe
Oh,
I should start doing that. I told you I'm getting older, and I've not really had any type of issues like that with my career choices. So maybe I should start doing
so
that.
I used to do on the corner of the kitchen units where they meet. I used to do like lift my feet off the ground and hold to try and stretch and like do shoulder drops as well, to try and stretch out my shoulders. But the kitchen we're in now has got an island instead of a corner, so I can't do it
Hmm.
anymore. And I was noticing it the other day, and it was my when I did all that dry brushing of those buildings for the
Ah, you did say something
yeah
about that.
my and I can still feel it now, how like, it's just tight, and I'm like, oh Sean, oh no, you're a
Carpal
bigger
tunnel is
man than me. I
contagious
don't
over
think
the
I
internet,
could
apparently.
do that. Oh.
well, the best part is you're there through the whole. You're awake through the whole thing, so you know what they're doing. It's just numb.
Yeah.
There's
It's
a
pretty
part of me that
crazy.
would want to watch that. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe that's just the gruesome part of me. Like, if you're cutting into me, damn it, I want to see what's going on.
I think they would let you if you wanted to.
I think I
Oh,
might want
that's
to see
it.
that.
I I think having stuff reattached is my. I think anything where it was to do my eye, I don't think I could handle that. That's
Okay,
just
yeah,
no.
that's fair.
I,
That's fair.
but then I don't know. I'm not. I am terrible. I'm just not good with that kind of stuff. So
Well, I haven't even said it, but our producer extraordinaire, one Mr. Chris Sheriff, is also joining us. Hi, Chris. How are you?
good. Thanks, Ed.
Yeah. So in this episode, we don't really have a ton planned over for it. So Chris offered up the idea of maybe playing a game together while we just kind of shoot the shit while we're talking, which I think sounded like a great idea. We are going to cover over some of the stuff we have been doing recently in gaming, flight deck, that kind of stuff. And then if that's all the further you want to hear, you could probably stop there. But I would recommend sticking around because we're going to sit down and battle out and find out a game to play together as friends and just bullshit while we're doing it. So that'll be a ton of fun too. So, I'm sure you've got the longest, heaviest load on this one, Chris. So I'm going to say, what have you been doing lately?
Um, not that much actual gaming. I did manage to finish off our Arkham Horror campaign. We've been waiting to do the last scenario of the Circle Undone for it feels like 6 months, and we finally managed to play that. So it was good. I died at the end. It was I'll not spoil the
Aw.
scenario for people, but the resolution was that I died, and the world was saved. So typical Kris, self-sacrificing. Oh,
not
um,
not thrown under the bus by the rest of the players. It was
uh, for anyone in the know, I was Alita Chandler of the group. If you can find the card, that is.
if you can
That's
find
two
it.
Arkham Horror jokes in one. In one. Oh man, I'm on form. That's it. I'm here all week, folks. So I was playing
Who's all playing in that game, by the way?
fun.
Who's all playing in that game, by the way?
Oh, Bill and Nick.
Oh, I thought that was the game that you were playing with Paul Heaver.
Oh no, that was called Cthulhu RPG.
Yeah,
So
that's what it
if
was.
you listen to the Carolina Crates podcast, you can hear that how I have to edit episode 11 and send it to Chris Allen. But I think we're nearing the end of that campaign. Probably that's been finished for months and months and months. But
Oh, I didn't realize that.
yeah, that's why we can record on Thursdays again now, because
Oh
it
yeah.
was in between Paul had a gap in his raiding for WoW, So he said he wanted to run this game, and I was like, I love all things. Like phrasing. I don't love all things Lovecraftian because then I'll get, tarred with a brush I don't want to be tarred with. I am a big fan of Arkham Horror and Call of Cthulhu, shall we say? um,
And
and
we'll
yeah, it
leave
was
it at that.
yeah, yeah. Uh, some questionable works, but like I, I, I personally was introduced to Cthulhu Mythos stuff through FFG anyway, so they they have more to do with Cthulhu than Lovecraft does to me. So
Weren't some of his works like he was writing in like the 20s, right?
oh
Like
yeah, not a nice guy, not someone I'd invite around for dinner, but
every picture I've ever seen of him, he's always got this scowl on his face. Even as I Googled him, I'm like, yeah, no, that guy looks like he's kind of pissed off all the time.
um, but yeah, I was playing Preston Fairmont, who's like terrible. All his stat block is just ones across the board, and then but you get loads of money. You just have all of the money. So it was
Oh, I remember that.
a true role playing experience for me. I got to role play someone who had money and was terrible, rather than I like to think opposite. I like to think, but we'll see. And then it just got really one dimensional because you spend the first like 2 or 3 rounds not doing anything. Like, I'm just gonna bank all of this money and fish for cards. Then you play your cards, and then the game just does itself. It's like, okay, there's one token in the bag that's the auto fail. If I draw anything else, I just succeed. And it was just really one dimensional towards the end game after you've upgraded the deck and everything. So I don't think I'd play him again as an investigator. It was really good at the start because I got to I role play my characters as well when we're playing. So like
Of course.
when the other people are like, okay, you can handle this, it's okay. And there's a card called "You Can Handle This," so you play it. It's like, oh, here you go, boy. My man, can you do this for me? I don't feel like doing it. It's okay. There's a nice tip in it
You're
for you.
much better. Yeah, you're much better at it than me. And then
Yeah.
there's a big fat tip at the end of this.
So I mean, it was good fun. I enjoy the game. I really enjoy the game. It's probably one of my favorites. And yeah, I don't think I'd play that deck again. I'm just not interesting. So we'll see.
So, fill me in just real quick. So, is this one of the one of FFG's living card game kind of things, or is it like
Yeah,
the Pathfinder card games where they're
a,
pre-made decks and then you just add cards to the deck as you go to like?
a bit of both now. That like they brought out 5 pre-made investigators where you can literally just buy a deck and it comes with like 2 upgrade paths in the deck, so you have everything you need to play. And then there's scenarios, so it's up either yourself or up to 4 other players playing against the scenario deck. And like it's kind of like the old tell your own adventure books, but
Oh, I
a lot
love
more
those.
involving and stuff. It's such a good game. Um it's probably FFG's magnum opus to me. Like
Really?
X-Wing's good, don't get me wrong, but I shouldn't say a complete game because it has connotations in the FFG world, but I think it's like the complete package of. It's not competitive. You guys are playing against you and your friends are playing against the game, kind of like playing Pandemic or something. It's got difficulty variation where you can do different things with how the tokens work and stuff like that. It's got replayability because you can play with different investigators through different scenarios, making different choices. It's just good. I've got a good. It's more than 2 cubes now. 1.5 cubes, I should say, for a card game, and that doesn't include all of my investigator cards because they are in the Munitorium backpack, the old one that fits a big hard plastic case.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one of those which has got the like 1,200 count card box in, which has just got all of my investigator cards. and then all of my scenario cards are behind me. So it's good.
If it's that good, I might have to take a look into it. I mean, so it's the Arkham Horror card game, correct?
Yeah. One core set will do you for 2 players. If you want to play with more than 2, you'd probably need to get a second core set. Or you could get one core set and then a pre-made investigator deck and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But yeah, I really like it. It's really good.
Good. Anything else that you've been doing?
I painted a little bit. I painted a good doggo for Sean from his cyberpunk stuff. I don't think I've posted that on Discord yet.
I
And
was gonna say I don't remember. I don't remember seeing that.
I started painting some more of my Elder Scrolls stuff. I've been putting it off because I've already painted it, but for research purposes, there's one of the I think of it as the companion to the starter box, like the rules, and then you would buy this delve set, they call it. But it's the same kind of deal. It's a scenario, so it's a dragonborn and some Duergar and some skeletons. And I've already built and painted it, but they also make it in plastic or resin. It's like, well, to be able to talk about it knowledgeably, I should build and paint it in resin now as well, so I can compare which one I like best.
As long as it's
So,
not as long as it's not failcast, you'll be fine.
but it's not. It's just like it's not exciting. So I've painted all of these models already.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Do a different
within,
scheme on them.
I decided I was gonna try them to paint them traditionally. So
Mm.
no, none of my cheating techniques like um, base coat by like black undercoat, paint on the base coat, paint on the highlights, paint on the do a shade, relayer, edge highlight, and I forgot how long it takes, especially
To
when it's
do it.
like a skeleton where it's like, nah. What I would normally do for skeleton is either spray it white and use contrast paints,
Uh huh.
or spray it black and dry brush it. And
No, go with the white. Go with the sapien wash. Paint some silver on the weapons. Done.
oh, I know, I'm fully aware, but I was like, no, I'll paint this set properly. So it's always properly in like, you know, inverted commas or whatever. Is that what it's called?
Quotes.
Quotation marks? Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Um, like properly. So like, just get paint on a model. It's painted properly. It's fine. But using more traditional techniques from when I first started painting, and that's a mistake.
They've got the old GW green bases too, right?
Not for the resin set comes with sculpted bases,
Ooh.
so that's a
It
mixed
makes me wonder
blessing.
why the company went with both plastic and resin. Are the sculpts the same?
Yep.
I wonder why they did both.
I imagine so. For more than 90% of the range is in resin. It's just this like core range is in plastic. They probably thought we might as well do them in resin as well,
Yeah, but the
because
molds are
like
different. Like,
yeah, but they probably had the resin molds to make the plastic one to get the cuts and stuff. I don't know.
yeah, that's probably true.
Like, I know making a resin mold is not expensive. Making a plastic
No,
mold
no,
is. So,
yeah. For those who don't know, whenever they make the plastic molds, they actually have to make those out of like steel. Those are dyes that
yeah.
they fill it and then heat injection the plastic into. Resin molds can be done out of like a hard pink foam that is like they take
Yeah,
the base model and then
you make it in a Lego block and put it in a
right,
compression chamber, and
right,
yeah,
exactly.
fun times.
To get all the air bubbles out. So much to tell GW there. Because all GW did with the with Failcast was they took the old ones that
Metal.
I wish they would go back to like I get that the whole
Why
idea with
would you pay the price of a Games Workshop model in that material though?
in tin,
Yeah.
yes, because the tin ones
So
like they got really, first of all, the plastics are really really good. It's really hard for me to kind of push back on
they
the
still do
plastics.
metal. I got Sergeant Harkin about a month or so ago because I.
It's the same
But
models they printed back then
I
though.
know,
It's
but it's
not
still a metal model.
It is still a metal model, and it's still quote unquote new, but that's because they didn't sell out of all the runs.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
I got the Catachan Colonel and I got Sergeant Ripper, so I was like, I'll get all the other named Catachans. I'll get myself a
Yeah, go
Slime
for it.
Elbow and it'll be fine.
Slimer. Not Rambo.
It's not Rambo, it's Slime Elbow. It's
It's not.
completely
It's Slime
different.
Arma.
Completely different. If it was Rambo, his name would be Rambo.
My point is though, is whenever they made that conversion over from producing tin models to producing the failcast, they just used the same molds and
Yeah.
just filled them with a different material.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they could just go back. Is really what I'm getting at. Is I I want metal models back from GW. It's never
So
gonna happen,
should,
especially the way that they're doing now, like where they're doing the monopose kits now, which is super irritating. And I know the reason why they're doing it, which makes it even more irritating to me. And for me, it's they wanted to put all these third-party bits companies out of business. Oh, you make shoulder pads for Space Marines, huh? Well, neat. So we're gonna make all of our Space Marines in these monopose kits that you can't actually just swap a pauldron off and put a new pauldron on. You can't swap an arm off and put a new
all
arm
you've
off. No, you have
got
to cut the
that's not Games Workshop's fault. That's what was it called? I can't remember. Chapter House's fault.
chapter house
If
minis.
Chapter House had just told the line and done like everyone else did and named them something else, it would all been fine. But no, they knew better. Where
Well, so
are they now, Ed? Where are they now?
I know. What was interesting to me was like when GW they pushed back hard. Because not only did they go through and rename every generic term in their entire lineup, Space Marines stopped being Space Marines, they're Adeptus Astartes. Drakari, Dark Eldar used to be Dark Eldar, now they're Drakari, and then they've got three different form of Eldar. They're not like not only did they go that route of renaming them to IP specific so you can't print them, they then went into the other further kick in the nuts of now we're going to produce monopose models that you can't easily make bits for. Unless you've got someone who's got halfway decent modding skills, thankfully I can. Um, like just changing the freak. It's like, all right, I've got this thing. I don't know if I've ever told anyone this, and maybe this is my own personal problems. I don't believe that Space Marines should ever go unhelmeted unless you're a hero character. Like it to me, it doesn't make sense that your stock standard Adeptus Astartes on the line is going into battle without his
What about if
issued
the
helmet.
helmet's damaged in combat? Should he have to
Okay,
keep it on?
and I get that, and I can totally understand that. But for me, it always think it's weird. So, like for example, and I can see it behind you. You've got the same one. The bikers on the Indominus box set, one of the sergeant isn't wearing a helmet, and in order for
That's
me to
filled
get it,
with chaos stuff, and I have
oh, okay.
to.
Well, I saw the
That,
box and that's what
yeah.
triggered. But anyway, for me, in order for me to do that, what I had to do is I had to get in there with a pair of pliers and cut the damn head out and put another Primaris helmet on there to get that to work. That's not that difficult. But for example, when I bought an oddball eBay auction for the Necron Warriors where someone had 19 Necron Warriors, not all 20 that came in the Indominus box set, just 19, meaning someone put together one model and put the rest of them aside. So I got it for dirt cheap because it's an oddball number, but me being my OCD being what it is, I needed to get one more Necron warrior. So I found someone on a Facebook who sent me one, but when they sent it to me, they sent me these aftermarket. They sent me one aftermarket torso of a female Necron warrior, which I thought was really cool. I'm like, oh great, I'll just be able to pop it on. And then when you see those Necrons, the way that those monopost kits are put in, you can't. It's not easy to just take this torso and not put that one and put that one on. I had to
What
do
you
all
should have
kinds
done
of
is bought a copy of White Dwarf in the 90s where you got a free Necron and just use that one.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess, but I like because again, GW's model work is second to none. These new Necrons are exactly what I would have thought they were. Like whenever you open that old third edition codex, where like they're the shambling horde. They've got like wires sticking out of their guts. I mean, they did a really good job with the resculpt of the Necron warrior. So I wanted that, but I also wanted to use this female sculpt because I thought it was kind of neat to like yeah, and this is just being me more gender neutral. Like there were female Necrontyr that made the conversion over to being in those necrodermis bodies.
Yeah,
Like
but
so,
maybe they don't need to have metal boobs.
But so I maybe not. I think that they do, and so there is right up there. And if anyone can pick it out in a crowd whenever they're playing me, let me know. There is one of those Necron warriors in there that is a female Necron warrior, and that was a little bit
It
more.
makes it worse that there's only one.
Oh no, I
Before,
think
it was
oh
fine because they can be whatever gender you like because they're Necrons. Now you've got one with boobs, and well, that's just not representational, is it?
she's the sergeant of the squad. My point though is like, so now I've done that. Now I want to get 5 more so that I can, or maybe 10 more or 12 more so that I can get a full squad that are all the same way now. That's where my OCD goes. That's what I'm trying to say is I've got problems, Chris.
Do you
But
want me to
yeah,
really set off his problem, Sean? You ready? You ready for this?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I'm almost finished the second High Republic book, Into the Dark, and Geode's just a rock.
yeah, I know.
Right.
Because after you and I had that conversation, did I or did I not go and get the audiobook from from Audible? And it's like there's even joking about the fact that it's just a rock just sitting here. Like, oh my god,
It's just a rock.
all right. So there's a lot of behind the scenes on this one. So we'll go into this. So you really all right?
Probably 200 plus things in the
Jesus.
story.
All
That's
right.
strange.
Prepare yourself for Ed Star Wars rant. Go. So I messaged these two guys the day that the Star Wars account announces the character of Geode from the new book from High Republic Into Dark. Now,
We should say spoiler warning for Into Dark if you don't want to know anything.
Yeah,
they've already tweeted about Geode being a rock, so I don't feel like that's a spoiler.
I'm not spoiling anything on that one. But the minute that I saw that, I went, huh, well, that's interesting. So I go to StarWars.com and I watch the video. And it's worse in the video that they did than the little High Republic glamour shot that they did of Geode, where you literally see two characters who are piloting Vessel, the spaceship from this book, and there's this gray slab behind them. And at first, I just thought that was the seat they were sitting on. No, that's the co-pilot.
There's 3. It's not the co-pilot, it's a navigator. Come on.
Okay, the navigator. I still mechanically, I still want to know how he does. How does he navigate anything? Is a rock. Anyway, trying to keep my cool. So, half joking, I send a message to these two saying, "This is the point, Your Honor, where Ed officially got off the Star Wars train. They've put an effing rock, a pet rock, into Star Wars." And Chris comes back, and as he often does, talks me off a ledge and says, well, they could go with a cool angle with it. I mean, you're assuming that biological life all has to be carbon-based. It's just as easily possible to have silicone-based. And I'm like, even in my own head, I'm like, well, geode to me, like the title geode, like if a geode on Earth is one of those rocks, and if you crack it open, there are crystals on the inside. Maybe he's filled with kyber crystals, and he's very force sensitive because of the kyber crystals and its connection to the force. And I start talking myself into this character, and then I start reading like, no, it's just a rock. It's a race that looks like a rock. Now, I still haven't gotten a ton of, well, if he's the navigator, how the hell does he navigate anything?
So it's a bit where it's like, oh, well, it's Geode. I was going out for a club drinking. It's just not there. They're on Coruscant. They just they come back to a ship, and that Geode's not there because he's just gone out clubbing. Night on the town.
My point being is, if you're a Star Wars fan in the fandom menace kind of sphere, all of the Star Wars nerds went completely berserk over the fact they've put a rock in Star Wars. And I had to be talked down, but I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. There are cool avenues that they could go with. And from the sounds of things, sounds like they didn't go anywhere with it, other than the fact that, yep, there's a rock. It's a rock.
Yeah, it's a rock.
Yep. Which I think pisses me off even more. Because, I mean, there are so many...
You can't stop a rock, though, and it's all right.
Can't stop. The only make it better is if they ever do a cartoon, if they get Dwayne The Rock Johnson to voice Geode, then maybe.
It doesn't talk.
I know.
Right,
and that's the other part that kind of, like, you have these other interactions where other people, it seems other people have had an interaction with it, but you're not there. As the reader, you don't get to see any of those interactions with Geode at all. You just get secondhand knowledge that an interaction happened with Geode, but you weren't there
My
to hear
favorite
it.
line was it's one of the characters. It's like, oh, there's an interaction between the pilot and the co-pilot, and Geode is there as well because why would it be? He's a rock, and
Yeah.
the co-pilot. It's from the co-pilot's perspective, and she says, "Oh, it's narrated. Uh, I I would have said something, but Geode was already giving him his dagger-like stare, so I didn't bother."
So meaning that's like it's a rock. Oh,
Oh,
so I mean, and this piggybacks on the whole thing with the Disney investors meeting, where you had investors actually talking to Bob Chapek about Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy, and I have not made my stance on her running of the organization uh, 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 a secret on this on this broadcast, and I've conceded there are. I have. This is the reason why I love having these two as friends, because they talk me off of cliffs all the time, and they help me open my eyes a little and kind of see different perspectives. I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy is very talented and has done amazing and wonderful things and will continue to do so in other areas of her career. I don't feel that she was the right person to run Lucasfilm. Just as I have been convinced that Ryan Johnson is not a piece of shit as much as I want him to be, that he is a talented director and has told well crafted, creative stories in his own right. He's just not the right director for a Star Wars film. His film would have been fantastic, The Last Jedi, if they had put that in a different universe, in a different. It could have been the exact same story in some other made up sci-fi adventure. It would have been the movie would have been good. The fact that it was so this is Chris's line, the Last Jedi is a good movie, it is a bad Star Wars movie. So I have come
it's
around
a
to
good film.
all of
It's a
that.
bad Star Wars movie.
Yeah, it's a good film. It's about that's the
Because I
quote.
separate films and movies into two
So
different things.
my point, of course, is that the internet exploded with the fact that Bob Chapek made some sort of comment at an investors meeting stating, "Oh yeah, no, Kathy, we're so happy to have her. We'll have her for years to come." What the fuck was the CEO of Disney supposed to say to investors on an investor call that, "Oh yeah, she sucks. She's a piece, like we're totally getting rid of her. We're totally handing the reins over." They would have been sued for multiple different areas. First of all, like Disney stock would have dropped. There's like legal
But if
liability.
what you
Like
say is true, Ed, surely Disney stock would have skyrocketed.
No, 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 no. You don't have major shifts in unannounced major shifts at an investors meeting
Worked
like
for
that don't.
GameStop. It's fine.
Yeah, well, that's when they had Reddit on their side. My point being is that they would have had a lot
So
of
you're trying to say that
legal.
if Kathleen Kennedy was sacked, they wouldn't have Reddit on the side? Is that what you're saying? That the argument you're going to throw at
Oh
me?
no, 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 no. I'm saying if they had intentions, I don't think they're going to fire her. I don't think legitimately. I don't think that they're going to fire her. I do not believe 6 months from now she's going to be announced with a contract renewal. No, I do not believe, from my standpoint of having seen what they have done with the property and some of the writing on the wall, I do not believe that Kathleen Kennedy by the end of 2021 is going to be the president of LucasArts. I don't.
See, Sean, I knew we'd get him. It's fine.
How long did that run? How long did that run? This was Geode. You started me on Geode. I've probably gone like 20 minutes just on my rant. My point being, Geode's just a fucking rock. And there could have been so many cool different directions they wanted to go. Like I had literally done a complete 180 on the character. I'm like, okay, well, it's a rock. Well, maybe there's all kinds of cool things that could be done. It's not a rock man. It's not a rock elemental. It's a rock, but it's a geode filled with kyber crystals. No, it's a rock. Which makes you just wonder that the creative group in charge of High Republic is just like mailing it in at this point. Like if you read the book, there's even like some self-awareness of the fact that it's just a rock. Like they make fun of the fact that it's just a rock in Star Wars.
If my 2 cents about Star Wars right now is actually pretty simple. Number one, you're competing against the same company, different brand that has a guy in charge that has mapped out for years what the whole point of the MCU is, you know. So that's something that is it's hard as a Star Wars fan, if you're a fan of both, probably to equate back into why the hell, if they can do it with one property, can't they do it with a second?
Ew.
But I do blame this on Lucas because Lucas never really had a vision per se. If you look at all the continuity errors between 4, 5, and 6, or just 4, and 1, 2, and 3 that he had his hands in on, it's like, yeah, this guy didn't have a plan. He made a movie, it was really good. And then somehow he had signed on for 3. So now he had to make 2 more movies that I know everybody loves Empire, great. But
That
to
was
me,
that was
Empire,
that was Kasdan's work, not Lucas. And we talked about this. We'll
yes,
get to that.
yes, when he gave up the reins to other people, it worked well. When you look at episodes 1, 2, and 3, that was the time frame when nobody would say no to the guy, you know. And
Well, and it makes that argument that if Lucas had a plan, when he sat down to write episodes 1, 2, and 3, he did those in continuity, and he knew from beginning to end where that story was going to go. Be where you were. There were more than half of the Star Wars fans that hate the prequels to this day because they don't feel like it's like 4, 5, and 6. But
well,
that's your boy Lucas. That was him under complete control. He wrote and directed and produced all 3 of those films. So you can't have your cake and eat it too and say it has to be Lucas's Star Wars or nothing else. The prequels are Lucas's Star Wars. 4, 5, and 6 are influenced. Well, 5 and 6 specifically are other directors that, and especially in the editing room, that saved those 3 films and made them the classics that they are.
and then you had 2 directors. One ruined Star Wars probably forever, making 7 and 9,
And Johnson.
and one did a really good job making episode 8. It's one of those things
One did a
where
really good job making a film.
exactly the other 2 films are, well, one's a carbon copy with different people, and the other one is literally a mess that I can't figure out to this day what the hell they were even thinking about. But that comes back to continuity,
Yes.
so the High Republic, you have a chance starting fresh. But what it seems to me they're doing with the High Republic now, take it with this, I haven't read anything yet, so I'm also not really going to be a fan of the High Republic because I'm not a fan of the Jedi to begin with, and I've made that very clear. I'm just not
Mm-hmm.
a huge fan. I love the universe is awesome. The Emperor was very cool to a degree. Darth Vader was really cool as a villain. Princess Leia was really cool as a character. But at the end of the day, you start out with this brand new world, and it's almost as if you're making it for kids rather than for, you know, rather than for a fan base that's already established that you can pull other people into. You're making it almost what it sounds like for kids. When you have a Rock as a character, that's literally phoning it in. I
Yep.
mean, you're not putting
Thank you.
effort into writing. If you're creating a character, maybe down the road that character is going to be, will crack open and become some spectacular thing. But
Oh,
ultimately, if you look at, even if you hate some of the, if you hate Jar Jar Binks was there literally to move a story forward. That was his role.
And he was the comic relief.
And he was there for the kids. Kids loved
Yes.
but
him.
that's what Geode is in this book. It's a comic relief.
Yes, but how do you portray that in a movie if you bring the High Republic to films or live anything? How do you do it? I know that you can do it with CGI. I know that other series have had weird shit like that in it before, but at the end of the day, it's, what is it? What are you trying to compel me? I'm not going to read High Republic, to be honest with. Number one, I haven't read many Star Wars books outside of the Star Wars books that are canon and the Heir to the Empire. And Star Wars books, I mean the movie books. I haven't
Yeah.
gone. I'm not an EU guy. I was never big into the EU, mostly because I'm not a huge fan. I'm actually not a fan of Luke Skywalker. I was never a fan of Han Solo after Episode 4 because they wussified him to death. I
Yeah.
liked Leia, but there just wasn't that much, in my opinion, out there for her. And by that time, I was married and had kids and all that, which took away a lot of that. But It's this concept that you have a chance to start over and you fuck it up from the beginning. Now what do? You know, and episode 8 was what I needed for Star Wars because I need that whole series to end because I need things like the Mandalorian. I was hoping the High Republic would be something different than kind of
And
like
it very well could. I still, admittedly, with the exception of the fact that Geode is a thing, and I admit that I am man babying that just a bit. I'm fully conscious of the fact that I'm doing that. I still have high hopes for the series because it does explore an area of Star Wars history that we know basically nothing about, which is
It,
one of the reasons why I was okay with the idea. I wish they had gone a few hundred years before Yoda being a part of the storyline
so
because I
Yoda must
know
only be in the comics then, because
he
yeah,
because he's not in the books.
I
He is in
I
the comics.
don't. Yeah, I agree. I would have liked it to go a bit earlier than it. I wouldn't. I'd want it to be pre Yoda, or Yoda as a Jedi Knight who's off doing something.
Right,
Yoda.
not on the
I
not
don't
on the
want Yoda
Jedi
as a
Council.
Padawan because I think that takes over the stuff. But the temptation to make it the Yoda show just becomes too strong if it's Yoda as a Padawan. So I think you
So,
either go.
sort of like you have to lure people in with Baby Yoda to then let it go so that you can let your other characters progress,
Yeah, it's
which
fine.
I'm giving
but if you want
we
Yoda,
talk
just make a series about Yoda.
No, that's why. But like, that's why I think I would have liked it more were it pre Yoda. But it's enjoyable so far.
I think you're gonna have a hard
I'm
time being pre-Yoda because he was over 900 years old in Return. So I mean, time is irrelevant in Star Wars. You can just stamp any time on it, and
But I mean, it doesn't have
well,
to be pre like the birth of Yoda because apparently Grogu's like 50 and is the
mhm.
fucking can't even talk.
Yeah, it could
So,
definitely be in a time frame where Yoda is either a Padawan or
so I would
not on the
specifically
council.
not
And
do Padawan, like a youngling, a Jedi Knight where he's just off. Like
yeah,
you don't even have to mention him because he's not important. Is it?
well, I say
Like,
yeah, the insignificant Yoda when it
yeah.
comes to the big picture.
But the first book, I think it is, like, talks about Yoda. It's like, oh, he would have his seat on the council, but he's like reneged it so they can go off and do something else. So it's obviously just doing his comic book run and then he'll come back, kind of thing. But yeah,
yep.
it's interesting. The villains seem interesting from the first book, and then I'm not finished the second one yet, so I don't. And it should be noted that this. Have you done both of them? Ed? Have you done the Light of the Jedi?
I went straight to this one. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
So Light of
Because
the
we got into this conversation, I'm like, damn it, I need to at least talk about this from an educated perspective because I knew it was going to come up tonight.
yeah. So they're pretty much parallel rather than book one and book two kind of thing.
Right, right.
So they kind of tell different parts of the same events.
Yeah, you don't have to read them in succession. I did read
Yeah.
that.
But no, it's good. I enjoyed the first one more, and I'm enjoying this one. But it's not really. It's like I said, he is Geode's a throwaway character, so it doesn't really annoy me. I get it. Like, some of the jokes land, some of them don't, but it's just like, yeah, okay.
The fact that he's even there as a comic relief character, I think, is probably well.
It's
I've
fine.
gone on long enough about
Yeah,
Geode.
I don't, so that's my flight deck. Yeah, like an hour in.
Has it been that long? Yeah, it has. Holy shit. All right, Sean, I don't know how much you've been doing, but I will yield the floor to you for a moment.
Pain, pain, more pain. That's kind of uh, my last 2 weeks. But no real gaming. We did some Gloomhaven on Wednesday online. Other than that, I really haven't done much. I had to get everything prepared before my surgery, so because I'm super right-handed, so there's a lot of
Super right-handed.
yeah, yeah. I had to move a whole bunch of stuff in the yard, so it took me 2 days to move because I'm dropping a tree because I'm getting solar panels put in the yard, and so there's just a lot of I have a lot of projects going on at this point in time, and then surgery, which knocks me out for about 2 months before I can really do any type of heavy lifting again. I had my second COVID shot yesterday, so that's kind of thrown me a little bit for a loop today with fatigue.
That's definitely the one that got me. We talked about this in a warm up, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's definitely the one that got me. It was the fatigue from that.
yeah. The first one kind of bit me too with fatigue, but this one really got me. So overall, I haven't done a lot. I bought the 2 core sets for Armada, um, and then I was hoping Kris would find a Android Netrunner box, but
No, the only thing I could get for you would be draft starter sets.
that's what I figured. Yeah,
Yeah,
the draft kits. Yeah,
yeah.
so I'll have to figure it out another way. But
There's a game from the past. That was a big one for FFG for a while.
Yeah.
yeah, I want to use the Android Netrunner concept for net running in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that I was wondering if that was the route you're going to go. That sounds like a cool way to do it.
Yeah, it'd be because it's interactive. It's not just
Hmm.
following a stupid flow chart like you have in the book and stuff.
Yep.
You play it out. You have your programs, and then I was hoping to get some data packs to update stuff, and it wouldn't be where there'd be limitations on things. It would just be as you upgrade your net running skills, you upgrade your programs, you get the programs, from all the packs and stuff. So, and
That's a cool idea.
yeah, then the concept, because there's a money feature with it, is instead of money, it would be power. So instead of collecting coins, you would collect power to be able to keep going through the system and stuff. So, so I think it's a pretty cool way to use a game that exists to be able to conceptually do something, for fun for players. Because to me, when I ran this eons ago, the netrunners always were the most bored because they really didn't do anything unless they were hacking. And
Yeah.
a lot of times you end up leaving the character behind trying to hack ahead of the players because they're literally just, other than a gun, you can give them a gun, but they're kind of a tool in the game as far as the actual action role playing stuff. So this way they could be out on the mission. And I know that Cyberpunk Red, the design of it is everybody's basically a solo sort of, but then you have the Rocker Boy, you have all these other ones, or at least that's the way that I would play it, where everyone is a solo first and foremost. They all have training in some type of weapon, whether it be knives, guns, whatever. But then you're the rocker boy musician, or you're the media, or you're the politician, in your day job type thing. And then that's what your character class is. But everybody, no matter what, is always a baseline of solo to a degree. So, it's kind of like a multi class character just to make it more interesting for everybody. The medics were always hard too to
Yeah.
fix. That was another thing to keep them in tune with the game, unless you just put them through sausage factory, gunfights and stuff, where the medic's pulling them off the line, patching them up, and throwing them back out there type thing. But that's not very fun either for characters. So,
No, because that runs a high probability of character death.
you have to have that netrunner, in
Yeah.
Cyberpunk. If you don't, you're really not playing it to that true level. You have to make sure that the players know before going in that, to start with, you're just meat sausage. That's all you are. You're going to get shot, you're going to get hit. And it's the same thing to me if I were running the Star Wars game, the Star Wars RPG. If you're just
Yeah.
starting out, your character may die, and you may have to roll the bard, the next character, because you may not get exactly what you want or have it. The other thing is, in those types of games, I think you have to limit like D&D. I have no problem giving a first level character a +1 weapon because it's not going to do that much more in that game. But in a game like Cyberpunk, the moment you let that power base go out of control, it goes out of control. And Star Wars could be the same thing too.
Yep.
Start with the freighter and then work to the YT-1300 type thing.
Yep. That's why it always bothered me to have Jedi in West End Games Star Wars. It ruins the game.
Well, that's my whole thing. Is I don't like, number one, I don't like Jedi to begin with. I wouldn't mind a force sensitive player, or a force sensitive character. That's kind of cool, something.
Yeah, again, this is probably me just praising the way that West End Games built that system. A force sensitive character would be fine because they only have so many dice that they can add into the dice pool whenever they're trying to make skill checks. Whenever you start adding Jedi into it, and Jedi have multiple dice that they can dice, and they can just ace out everything else, it legitimately kills a game.
Yeah, even a poor Jedi would imbalance,
Right.
you know. And that's kind of where I'm always at when I make games. When I do D&D games, it's a little bit different than like what we're used to with Kris and other things, because to get a potion, and this is my second edition, mind always at work, but to be able to make a potion, you have to have the ingredients. So you can't just, oh, I'm going to crap out a potion here now.
Yep.
It's the same thing with spells. Gaining spells, there isn't any, well, I'm going to sit and watch a spellcaster cast a spell, watch the hand. No, that's bullshit. You have to learn it. You have to find that mage who's going to teach it to you. Now, with that said, that's how I do it. Now, it doesn't mean it's a bad way to do it. I like the way Kris does it because it's fun for that person who's playing.
But
No one
so
ever
the
looks at those
thing that
material components.
it goes hand in hand with the fact that I've removed the ability for wizards to be able to learn any spell they want when they level up.
Right, which I
So
wouldn't have
yeah,
either. Yeah,
yeah.
they would have to go to a trainer. They would have to pay the gold. They would have to find the scroll.
Yeah.
And then I loved, this is what I loved about first edition, second edition D&D, was there was also a chance of failure to learn a spell,
Yes.
where if you failed the roll, you could never ever learn that spell. You could cast it off scrolls, but you could never learn it. Which to me which was the same thing with an alchemist making potions. If you weren't an alchemist, your chance of failure is great. If you were an alchemist, your chance of failure is much less, but there's still a chance to fail until you hit certain levels. Your character hits that 10th level mark, and then you're basically an expert at that type of stuff. That's just the way that I always loved it, and was described well in the DMG back then. It was a different game though too. It wasn't like it is today, where I'm not going to say it's like a video game. Third edition was like a video game. Fourth edition was really like a freaking
I
video.
was just going to say I would argue more fourth edition, but
There are,
third third edition to me felt like a tabletop miniatures game.
yeah, I would agree with that. But it had some of that feeling of the old SSI style video games.
Yes.
Where they didn't really make it a role playing game. Fourth edition wasn't a role playing game; it was a video game.
Yeah, it was World of Warcraft with a Dungeon and Dragon skin on it.
Exactly. And then fifth edition kind of drew it back. That's why I like it, because it kind of sort of drew it back to first edition, to some of the roots. Not all of it. There's still a lot of
I know.
that's. But I enjoy it, and I enjoy the character that I have in our adventure. And Kris and I were talking a little bit, and I play a chaotic good priest, and I try to play it as a chaotic good priest
He
in,
does. He
in,
does a good job of it.
in a world of evil, because there's a lot of influences for priests to me in Ravenloft that would take priests from that good category to that neutral to even evil category at times. It's wavering on that human nature side.
I don't know where this mace came from. It just fell into my bag.
I have no idea. I set my mace down, I picked a mace up, and lo and behold, I have a mace, and it's my mace. I don't know. Donovich's mace is in his chest.
As
Back in
far
his,
as I know, that's the last place I saw it.
exactly it.
Yeah, speaking of D&D, this is going to kind of bleed over because, is there anything else?
No, that's it. Like I said, I haven't done much. I've done a little bit of reading on cyberpunk stuff, so that's kind of the closest thing to gaming for the last 2. And as you guys know, I wasn't there Monday. Just my week was way too hectic to be there Monday. So, but I will be here. I will be there this Monday coming up.
Good. So when they were writing Star Trek Deep Space Nine, one of the running tropes in that TV series is that the writers in the room said O'Brien has to suffer. And I don't know if you've ever watched Star Trek DS9, but there are
I'm watching.
plenty.
Started season 2 today again for
So
like
there
my
are
third or
plenty of
fourth view
episodes
through.
where they kick down my one of my favorite Star Trek characters, Cole Meany, playing Miles Edward O'Brien,
Oh,
and
good old
O'Brien's
racist O'Brien.
what's that?
Good old mild but racist O'Brien.
Mildly isn't he? Where is he originally from?
But he hates Cardassians. Just,
Oh,
just.
that I thought
uh,
you meant like it was a racist play on like someone
No,
from
it's
the
just
UK.
the character's
It's
just
no,
racist. It's just
he is. He doesn't care for Cardassians. I don't necessarily disagree with that. All right, that's fair. My point is I'm beginning to feel like our D&D sessions are I'm Miles O'Brien and Kris just has to make me suffer.
well.
Oh, it's a shame that you've got this curse. I guess we're
So
gonna have to go here.
I
And
was
oh,
talking
look,
about this
these
with
old
Greg.
people have to die. Oh, but wait, now we're gonna get to the mill,
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
and I'm spoiling this. Oh wait, well, now we're gonna get to the mill. Let's
I
start
didn't
throwing.
kill the old couple.
Neither
Giant
did I,
spoilers.
it's
But
all based on me trying to get rid of this curse of my character. And every step of the way, it's all right. So let's how much worse can we make this?
But
Let's
think
start
about it
throwing
though.
kids
But
out of a windmill.
if you think about it though, that's what a curse is.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like the
so do
more I
you,
try to get the more I try to get rid of this curse, the worse it gets. The next thing I'm expecting is a basket of flaming puppies. Like
so
legit, like it can't get any worse at this
I
juncture.
I was talking to Greg about this the other day. So I was like, I feel like Ed's really engaged at the moment. It's like, well, yeah. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? He didn't give me any backstory to work with, so I've just got to go with what's going on in the game. Like, generic elf who arrived. I'm still waiting a year later for my like 500 word bit of backstory, and now he's bitching that to get him engaged in the game, I'm having to use stuff that's going on in the game. Like,
Was I not
look, man,
engaged
you can have
before?
cool stuff happening with your cool backstory that only you know in your head. But until you share it, man, I can't help you, you know? Like,
Well,
Sean's got stuff
if that's
going
what it
on.
takes, if that's what it takes to not get to the point of flaming basket of puppies, then fine, you've made your point.
Like, are you engaged in the game?
Yes, well, it's not like I
The
haven't been engaged
mission
for a year.
accomplished.
You know,
It's not like I
to me, Ed, what it reminds me of is like you're drinking dragon breath chili, and instead of having it blow out of your mouth, it's blown out of your ass all the time
Yep.
because you're cursed. You know, that's the beauty of it is, and this I was thinking about this at the end of the last session when I was there, when Greg was pissed that the old couple died. Sorry, spoilers if you're paying attention to the campaign, but the irony of it was that's what a curse is. You know, everybody in D&D always thought of a curse as
I
I got
had
a curse.
such good plans for that old couple.
Uh,
They were 100% going to make a reappearance. They had a recurring role.
well, you know, at the end of the day, Kris, you know, they could reappear. We
They
are
absolutely,
we
they
are in
absolutely.
Ravenloft.
It's
But
fine.
that's the funny thing to me about this because Greg was mad. I was in that chaotic, neutral, evil state that I get into every once in a while as my priest, where it's kind of like, well, we did the best we could. Yeah, you know, we're skilled fighters, and they still died because we left a big, wide open gap, you know, in there, and we did the one thing that you never do in D&D. What did we do?
I know
Split
we
the
split the
party.
part, but we thought we could leave you two old people walking down a street in the hands of a gigantic burly dragonborn. It in I'm still my point. I feel like my character on his conscience has the deaths of not only two old people and an 80,000-year-old donkey that they decided to put down because he just wasn't
The
going to make
donkey,
it.
I have no idea why the donkey had to die. I don't know.
I
I don't
wasn't
know.
there. I couldn't prevent it.
That wasn't me, and I wasn't going to stop it. So
But now we've got people throwing children out of a windmill that I'm literally where we left the game off, where you're going to pick up, Sean, when we're there, is I'm literally at the bottom of a windmill preparing to play fireman's catch for any kids to come flying out the goddamn window.
well, that sounds about right for a person with a curse.
Well, I feel cursed if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah,
So yeah,
hey, that goes back to second edition for me, or first edition, second edition, where curses weren't just the weapons attached to your hand, and when you swing it, it hits you in the head for 5 damage.
where you
It's
temporarily lose an ability or
yeah,
your attribute drops by 1 or 2. No, there's
no,
more
no,
to
no,
it.
no. And we're in Ravenloft, which is supposed to intensify things like that. Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
happy that you're engaged and that you're obviously thinking about the game outside of the game, and that's all I ever
I
wanted.
have been. I have
All
been.
I ever wanted was for
I
you to
have
think
been.
about D&D when we're not currently playing D&D. That
I
means
have been.
I'm winning. I did a good DM job.
that's right.
This is definitely gonna be one of the campaigns that I remember for a really long time. That time that I inadvertently got old people killed and children thrown out of windmills because I was trying to clear a curse. So yeah, so that was my Monday. I decided to do something. I think I know I've mentioned this before. I bought the Alien RPG whenever it first came out. I backed it super early. I got myself the special edition, beautiful book, and I've gotten every piece of printed material that Free League Games has put out. But I've never been able to play the damn game. The game was published in December of 2019, and of course, COVID happens 3 months later. I've not been able to play it. We've talked about doing it a little bit on our Monday night role playing games, but I don't feel like the group has. The whole idea was it's supposed to be like a bit of a palate cleanse, like, oh, we're getting a little bored of this, let's do something else. But I don't think anyone's gotten bored. I'm certainly not getting bored, but I definitely wanted to I wanted to scratch that. I've wanted to play this game for over a year. So I told myself I'm going to find a way to make that happen. So I joined the official Alien RPG Discord and found a GM who was willing to run a game. And what I wanted to do is I want to play as a player all of the printed material so that when it gets down to I'd like to run this game for my group of friends, I've had that experience of playing it, so I've not had to spoil it for myself by GMing it because I've not read any of the material. I've intentionally kept myself away. But then you have that weird. I'm going to be meeting 5 random people on the internet to roleplay, and you never. It's like what am I thinking? It's a Forrest Gump box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And as the day kept getting closer and closer, I was getting excited because I was going to play the Alien RPG. I was really excited to do that. But again, I had these concerns like, I don't know these people. I might hate the GM. I might have some jackass or two in the group that's just going to make it an unenjoyable experience for me. But
Yeah,
luckily for
they'll
me,
probably be like, yeah, I'll do a backstory, and then just won't.
well, luckily for these are pre-generated characters because these are all the these are all the cinematic ones. So you literally just jump into a role. Thankfully and probably luckily, the group that we got together with was fantastic. I had a great time. I had people from all over the world that I was playing with. There was another IT guy. He was in Holland. He played one of the other engineers. So he and I were both like the Parker and Brett characters of this particular story. So we kept making IT jokes the whole way through. It was really kind of cool to have I'm playing with someone from Holland, and then there's another player in Jersey, and then there's another player in Wisconsin, and then there's another we were all over the place, and the group turned out to be okay. I enjoyed it. We had fun. We had a lot of laughs. The game reminds me an awful lot of playing Call of Cthulhu, where instead of an insanity counter, whereas you're just waiting until your character goes nuts, it's the stress mechanic that builds up. And anytime something weird shows up, like, ooh, there's a spaceman with his head blown off, add a stress. And every time you're adding stress, you're running that possibility of having a panic roll and something bad happening. That's what the game kind of feels like for me. Overall, mechanics are really good. I'm enjoying it. We got about 4 hours in on Friday, and we haven't even gotten out of the first act yet. So I anticipate like 3 more Fridays until we get it completed for I'm playing Chariots of the God. I probably didn't mention it. It was it's the adventure that comes with the what am I thinking? The starter set.
Yeah.
I got it whenever I got the special edition because they gave me everything. But it's been fun. It's been enjoyable so far. So I had a good time. So that was my Friday night. And I also had that weird. I feel like I'm cheating on my D&D group by playing with another group. That is like it was weird hearing another GM on the other end of Discord that wasn't Kris.
Yeah, well, you know.
He didn't have a British accent, so that was kind of weird for me. But overall,
It
yeah, no.
didn't
So
it
that
didn't have a cool old lady voice. Oh, I'll just
didn't
get you
didn't have a
some.
cool.
Oh, I'm dead.
No, but the guy's name's Larry. I don't know if he's ever going to see this. I did direct him to our show, so if he ever wanted to see some of this stuff, so if he does see this stuff, he did a fantastic job. Like he went through and built the whole module before Freely Games did anything official on Roll20. So every bit of it he did by hand. So all of the sound effects, all the music that was getting played, all the visual aids that he did himself. He even went to the extent of making YouTube videos as each little step in the story something interesting happens. There's these CGI videos. I mean, they would be great PlayStation 2 graphics videos kind of thing. Like, but it helps immerse you into the story. He did such a good job, kind of like tying us into it. So I had a good time, and I'm looking forward to next Friday
Yeah.
and
The
Monday.
amount of garbage I have in this basement for in-person role-playing games.
I know.
Just I've got library cards for when I run Arkham Horror. For when I run Call of Cthulhu. So if you want to go to a Miskatonic library, you've got to take your library card, and it's got your character's name on it. And I have sealing wax because if you want to seal it, ever want to seal an envelope, handle wax doesn't work, or like wax crayon and everything. It's got to be a special kind of wax, or it
Yeah, it's not.
sticks. So
It's
I've
a
got,
different type of paraffin.
yeah, I've got a bunch of different waxes and like crests and stuff to press into it. I've got puzzle boxes to give out for when people find treasure and stuff. But yeah, I've got a lot. I mean, I can probably just grab it because my headset's not that on.
No, but your microphone is.
Oh.
My point being though is I had a really good time on Friday, and when oh look at that
Want to play a
when it
40,
comes
40 game role playing game? You find, some heirlooms and stuff.
where did you find that?
This is from being a premium subscriber backer to 40k Inquisitor Martyr, the PC game.
So one of the coolest things I have of my 40K thing is I've got Jimmy. Jimmy is a servo skull that is also a tape measure, and I have loved Jimmy forever. He got the nice little Imperial Inquilorite on him. So when I saw that, I'm like, Jimmy needs that cup to sit in. I need to have
Yeah,
Jimmy
my
sitting in the
big
cup.
golden skull chalice.
It's
It
beautiful.
has a case as well.
Ooh.
But yeah, I've got so many props for running different games in person.
I love props. Those are
It's
awesome.
it's
It
all
definitely
about
helps.
getting people engaged in your game. But yeah.
Yep, it gets that's why I thought Sean's idea of doing an actual Netrunner game in Cyberpunk, like that was a great idea because it would engage those Netrunners into the game. That's really cool. So yeah, other than that, I mean, that was pretty much about it. It's been all role playing games in the last 2 weeks, to be honest. I feel like we didn't skip a week this week, did we, for D&D? Did we?
No, we I had to cover for Sean
Extras.
because he wasn't going to be there. We did we had grand encounter with the
Which we're still in the middle of, by the way.
the vandals who were chopping down all of the trees and killing the forest that you agreed to go and sort out.
Yeah, the Vandals, the old couple.
All of those. I mean, how many trees have they killed, man? They deserve to die.
I would be remiss if I did not mention we have a very interesting game of Neptune's Pride going on. That it looks.
Is it
I feel
interesting
bad.
though?
It's not interesting for Kris because Kris is basically out of this game already.
I'm fine with it's more interesting now than I thought it would be because I am actually getting to do stuff. But yeah, I think I stacked up all of the different gambles I could do at the start of this one to see how much I could be a chancer, and then handicap myself by only talking to people in hexadecimal for a while.
Because nobody responded to you.
A lot of people responded. There was only
Just one that
one,
should.
but just one person
Yeah.
who was too stupid to figure out what we needed to do. Ed.
That'd be me. Yeah, totally me. I mean, totally
Yeah,
me.
but no, it's
He's
been
not
good.
wrong.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the setup that I went for this galaxy. I mean, I'm not gonna just quit to AI or anything. I'll play it out, but I will not be sad when I don't have to log into this version of the
This
game.
particular game anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a weird. I don't feel like we've ever done one of these. Maybe we did one, but we had to cancel it, and we restarted the game. But we did a symmetrical galaxy, which basically you have these circles, the interconnecting circles, and you've basically got 25 stars in your little circle, and then it connects to another 25 stars, which connects to another 25 stars. So somewhere in the middle, there's someone that's connecting to almost every
No,
player.
it's not symmetrical. It can't be. So
Hmm.
it's random groupings of 25 stars. That's why I'm really upset's the wrong word, but like I would never use this again. I
No,
would never use the ring system again. I'm not a fan at all.
And I told you the reasons why I'm not a fan. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with the fact that I have 3 people on my border. I don't have a problem with that because every other game, with the exception of the game that I won, that's how every game's ever gone for me. So I'm kind of used to it. It's the fact that there's no the way that the other galaxies were designed. There are choke points. There's like 1 or 2 stars that if you can control those and defend those, you can keep someone from coming into your territory. At least in the early part of the game before they advance hyperdrive and they can blow past that. So it kind of creates a natural barrier between players that this is if you go beyond this point, you're definitely dipping into the other person's quote unquote territory. This did not work out that way. You have all of these circles, and I literally have, I don't know, just eyeballing it, I've got 15 stars that touch 3 different players. And that, how do you defend that when all of your
You'd have
resources are
9.
in?
If
What's that?
you're bordering 3 players, you'd have 9 stars because 3 of
Okay.
your
Yeah,
stars
all
can
right.
connect
Yeah,
to
you're
3 of
right.
those.
You're right. My point being, all of your resources, though, are generated in the center of the circle. So you have to be able to pull all of those out. But where do you pull them when you have 15 stars on the outside that you have to try to defend all at once? It's difficult.
So what you have to do, all you have to realize in this game mode is if you measure the distance from an outer ring to an outer ring, it's longer than the distance from an outer ring to an inner ring. So you don't actually have to pull them.
No, you just need to have ships sitting on the inner rings waiting to
Yeah.
react.
But then you also have to be on top of it and check every hour and do all of that stuff. And yeah, no, I am. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna whine about my look. I
Go
went
ahead.
through. So my experimentation drops in this game have been so bad. It's unbelievable. I just. Oof. I still am yet to have a drop in weapons. I haven't had a drop in. All of my drops have been into a thing I was just about to finish, so it put me over, but didn't complete a full one, or into scanning, which is like I need 4 drops, I think, to complete scanning. But yeah, it's just terrible. My roll of the dice on who I was neighbors with and who I was gonna play nice with, I got ass about face. I should have done it the other way around. So that didn't work. And then yeah. Talking to everyone in Hex meant I couldn't use my my wit and charm. So yeah, this is the full on. Okay, maybe I can't. Maybe I can't do play like this much of a shitter. Maybe I can't take four bounty hunters to worlds and expect to win, Sean.
Maybe,
Exactly.
maybe.
That's what this game is the equivalent of, Sean. That 4 bounty hunter Imperial Assault list.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
I don't think I was quite as salty for this game. I'm doing my best. So what I did, I told one guy, look, I'm going to attack blue. So if you follow me, and I'll suicide all my ships into blue, and then you can have all of my stars for free, and then you can follow up on me weakening blue. It's like, yeah, okay. And then he got halfway across and didn't follow me. So it's like, oh, he's not going to do it. He's not going to attack blue. He's just going to let me die, and then take all my stars.
Which is what he did.
So then I was like, said to blue,
spoiler alert.
I'm going to throw all my stuff at orange so you can follow me in. And these two are like simping for each other, you know. Oh, no. Oh, I can't. Oh, it's such a good ally. It's like, you know, only one of you can win, yeah. Right? You know, only one of you can win. And it is 100% that anyone but Kris coalition. But I've managed to drag them into purple, orange, blue, and red are all fighting over red's home star system. So I'm going to keep
red,
building it up so that someone's going to want it, and the other two are going to be butthurt about it. So
I was surprised at one point in time you were down to science 0, and I'm like, all right, Kris is done. Like, I honestly thought when I saw Kris at science 0 and he's not getting any research, he's really relying on experimentation to advance, that you were going to quit.
Yeah, I'm not going to quit, am I? Can you imagine what the grief you guys could give me in Discord if I quit?
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, I'll just play my own game, and my game is now: which one of you are you going to fight each other over my good systems? Because I carried on building them up. I've also handed out money to everyone, and I think I filled up your tech, didn't I, Ed?
Maybe you did.
I'm sure I sent you tech that you didn't have.
I don't know about that.
I sent tech to everyone. Just, you know, oh, you get a car, you get a car. You know,
he was overrated. I'm looking. I don't.
Maybe it was everyone but Ed. Maybe I was mean to Ed. Let's check.
No, you were mean to Ed. You're. No, I don't see anything from you.
Oh, I abandoned systems for you though. I gave you.
So I will give you that. You did abandon a system for me. I do appreciate that.
Even the one at the start that you said was yours, I was like, "Do you want to? I'll trade you something for it. Do you want to, you know, give me some money, give me some science,
like,
you know? I'll give it you back for free." And then I still abandoned it and let you have it.
You did. I have no confidence at all that I'm going to survive much longer in this game, to be perfectly honest with you. I literally think that this is Purple's game to win at this juncture.
I've done my best to put Purple in a good position. After it would have been Orange's game hands down until it refused to follow up and kill you, because Orange would have had all of my systems and then 50% of yours after I suicided all of my ships into you.
Yeah,
but he didn't. He didn't. Orange, you had him under the thumb or something. I don't know. Wrapped around your little finger. Orange was like, "Oh no, I can't attack Blue. Not my boy, Blue." Oh.
I gave him because I had no idea where he was, and
you gave him weapons 2 and 3. I'm fully aware. I am fully aware of what you gave him.
Because I thought you were pushing into. He was pushing into you, and I'm like, well, if I could at least fuel that fire a little.
I mean, it was a good move because I wasn't pushing out on him. It was just there was no way he could threaten me. And then he suddenly went from being behind me on weapons to ahead of me. I was like, no, okay. But I mean, it wasn't hard. You click on the leaderboard and see who's got on intel and see who else has got the weapons for him to go up 2 levels. And I'm like, okay, so Blue just screwed me.
Like I said, ultimately, in the end, I think we're gonna end up losing, but at least I had some glory and glee out of doing that.
Oh, it's fine. I just I'm baffled by like I think or like at the moment I think you could probably abuse Orange enough that he would just let you win and just play second fiddle now. You all you got to do
Well,
is you give him the good worlds from my stuff and like take the outer ones.
it's kind of what my plan is. And my genuine hope is that I can talk him into pushing into purple so that he and I can hit purple on a double front. Because basically, I don't think that purple's got the ships to push back against both of us. We need to get you out of the way
But
first.
it's not it's more of a weapons technology that
Well,
Purple
there's that
doesn't have.
too. But
But I've told Purple he just needs to be researching weapons 100% of the time now.
yeah, I agree. We are ahead of them on weapons, though,
I know.
and manufacturing.
I am aware.
So ultimately, and my hope is that Orange can push in from the south, I can push in from the west, and we can pinch him in, and then somewhere in the middle, I've got my 100 how many do we need to win?
101.
101.
You
Yeah,
have to you've got to take four people's entire systems. So
yeah, their entire systems.
yeah, and that's
So
what I
it'll be
mean about
interesting,
like I don't. Orange would have had all of mine and over
and probably
half of
half
yeah. So that's why I'm like, you know what, just get me the fuck out of this game because it's not going to get any better. It's just this one's gonna be what date are we on now? The 13th of March. This game isn't finishing until like mid-April.
you think.
Yeah, no, I would put money on April. Like I guarantee you, it won't be finished by April 1st.
Hmm. Because I would think that once someone takes your systems, let's say, for example, I take the outer worlds, which is my plan. I take the outer worlds, I give Orange the core worlds, and allow him to push into purple.
Yep, but that doesn't get you anything. You then still need two and a half other players because you only took half of mine.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's it. You can't split it with him, but equally, you know that. So I don't know. I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to use out of game stuff to influence things. But
I
I
know he has nowhere else to go but up, which is through me.
well, no, you can go through purple. Like
Well, now he can, yeah.
he's not going to attack you now. I don't think anyway. Because if he does, he's a moron. Because I was handing him the game on a plate. Because in my head, I was like, I'm just done with this game. Let's accelerate it to a point that it's going to end quicker. But no, wasn't meant to be. So I had the opportunity to intercept some of Orange's fleets and just wipe them out. So you know what? We're just going to turn on Orange now. I've been a good sub race, and like everything I told him I'd do, I did. And I was like, you know, if you're not going to do your end, you can just get wrecked. You can be locked in this hellhole forever.
It'll be you might have to start a second game that if this spills out into another week and there hasn't been because we were all talking about towards like once everyone got their 25 stars closed, we all thought there was going to be like a build up period, like a week that
Well,
nobody was going to
I
do
wanted to
anything.
make sure that didn't happen. That's why I did what
And
I
that's
did.
exactly what you did.
I was like, you know what? Because the problem with if you let it do that, there's never actually a good time because everyone's building up. So the game,
Yep.
and if someone drops into weapons twice on experimentation, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way you can get an advantage is somehow getting like 2 levels up on weapons by accident. That's the only way the action starts again. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. But I think I've found a way to do an an even spread map though, where no one gets screwed over, other than random generation of actual what stars you get kind of thing. But
Ooh.
starting positions, I think I've found a combination of settings which works. So the next game I'm going to try it and we'll see.
So you've started like practice games up just to see what
Yeah, I
happens?
started like 5 different games up with normally it's Dark Galaxy when you start off. I did it as a non-Dark Galaxy because I could see all the star layouts.
Yeah, that was the first game that we played that we did that. We've never done one since then just because I don't like the idea. I like the idea of having that fog of war and not knowing what's coming.
Hmm. It
Well,
certainly
because you
adds
can
value to
hide stuff.
scanning.
You can hide stuff just on the edge of their scanning range, and like, oh, they're going to come on in. They don't see the 200 ships that are sitting just a world over that you can get there before you can get there. Like that's the best.
Yeah, but no, it's good. I don't pity the end game in this because it's going to be ridiculous. You thought the game we played where it was me, you, and Greg as an alliance, where we
Mhm.
had actual alliances in play and stuff as well.
Yeah, and we
Um,
push Greg to the top.
yeah, but you like that game, you thought it was over and then it took like another 10 days. That is going to be
Yeah,
nothing compared to this one.
we'll see. I have high hopes. Because I don't know what anyone else is doing. I know what you're doing, I know what purple's doing, and I have a slight idea what light blue's doing. There are
Oh,
three other
Light Blue's
players.
simping for you as well.
There are three other players that
I
I
was
have no idea what they're doing.
what was it? I was chatting with Light Blue because I saw he had some tech that he'd obviously got from you. And I was like, you know, you want to trade? You want to buy some death sticks? It's like, yeah, you don't want to sell me death sticks. Um, it was like, oh, I'll trade you anything, but I can't trade you weapons because I know the person who traded me weapons wouldn't like it. It's like, how's he gonna know? Maybe I just researched my own weapons. Hey, I'm
So
a
are you
Nubian. Your mind
Chris,
tricks don't work.
are you suggesting for a moment that I am the head of the Chris can't win this game society? Because I don't know that I elected myself to that position. I'm just saying.
So in the last game, I told Alan specifically to find out who Ed was because Ed would be 100% up for a anyone but Chris coalition. And
Which he
then
was more than happy to
lo and
oblige.
behold, Alan found out who Ed was. And Ed won due to Alan's anyone but Chris coalition.
And I'm very thankful for Alan and his assistance in that game. I gave him full credit.
Oh, I think so. I binned all of my prestige into orange for this game because I think you get like 8 votes per game. I felt the number of players there
What
are.
does that do? I've been meaning to ask it. I always click that. I like towards the end of a game. I always click people and just like
The
distribute
renown thing.
amongst.
It just it how nice it. So theoretically, the player with lots of renown is the one who you can trust. You know, people just give him like, oh, he's a good guy in that game. Have some renown.
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything in game.
Oh no, but so when you're not playing with full anonymity, where you can actually see a renown, you can actually try and judge the that type of player you're dealing with. Obviously, you've
Oh,
got
I
to judge if
see.
they're new players or not as well.
Well, that's the other thing. We've got a lot. We've got. I mean, we've got some folks in here, but we've got a lot of folks in here that have not obviously not played that much or at all.
Yeah, that's why I'm happy to go out first because then when people know that they're better than me.
And it brings them in for the next game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that warm up game of X Wing. Of course, you lose the training game that you train someone else because oh look, you played this game and you won. Now you want to come back next week and play again. I learned that from somebody.
So I would, yeah, she did. I would guess that yellow is probably, what is it, Peter? Let me look. If I had to guess who people are, I would say that obviously I know who you are. You're dark blue now because we were
Mhm.
chatting. I think Alan's probably orange. Um,
Really? Oh, I would have thought Alan was light blue.
maybe.
You could be right. You very well could be right.
I guess that Alan, maybe not. Hmm. Who would I put as orange?
I was curious if Greg was even playing in this game.
Greg's not in this game. He said it was full when he went to join, or he joined the one where apparently I posted the wrong link. He joined that one or something. But yes, I don't
Oh.
think Greg's in this one. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I like it, but I
Yeah, I
definitely want
like
to try that cooperative game because
the zombie one that Alan's
yeah,
recommending. Yeah, I do.
I don't know how long I can keep just trying new things because it does it. I think the good part of the game is when you're playing with new people. So if it's the same like 8 of us playing over and over again, it becomes inevitable. The the play style just plays out the same every time. Like you do the
Yep,
same stats, you try and find out who the same people are, so you can get the same alliances.
yep. I agree with that statement.
Oh, um, but yeah. Anyway, it is what it is.
Wow, that went on a lot longer than I thought we were
Yeah,
going
it's because
to.
we tangented a million times, but luckily, I don't know that the main topic's going to be that long, so it's fine. Oh, I suppose we could do news because I do have some lack of focus news. Um,
Ooh.
so obviously we're still waiting for points for the charity giveaway. So
Mm-hmm.
once that's out, we'll sort out who won that, and the money they'll get to pick the charity and stuff. But the other thing that we try and do obviously was the Christmas draw that we did. I still haven't sent those out. I was gonna do it last week, but then Alan started cutting all of the new tokens. So I was like, well, if I hold it off until I can get these tokens, I can do all of the shipping in one go rather than having to do two lots. So I made the executive decision to um, not send out any of the stuff yet and hold it until these tokens arrive from Alan. So
Ooh.
anyone who's was a Patreon at the end of 2020 will be getting these tokens. You don't have to keep paying if you cancel your thing now. I'll still send you the tokens. Don't worry about it. So don't feel like I'm like trying to reel you in or bait and switch or anything like that. I I've said you get the stuff, you will get it. I'm just trying to make sure I can do it efficiently. So everything's going to be boxed and packed up, just waiting for the token to arrive. I think Alan said he basically he did a full run and they didn't come out right, so he had to order some new acrylic. That's the word, and send that to him. So that should arrive to give him enough to do everything. But he's doing the new lack of focus tokens, which is a similar design to the old ones, but they actually match the size of the Roger Roger tokens, and which are the same size as the cardboard ones. Because the original lack of focus tokens were a little bit weird in that they're slightly larger and were etched on two sides. So like,
Mm-hmm. I
so
remember. I still have
yeah,
those.
so I think these ones will be a little bit nicer. I touched up the design so you can see the edge of the eyeball in the no entry sign of things. I think it's a little bit. I do think these are better tokens. But basically, I just want to give everyone an update because I know obviously we've got fans in the UK and stuff, and shipping can take a while, and I don't want people worrying that stuff's been lost in the mail or anything like that. I have my spreadsheets of what I owe everyone. Nothing's been forgotten. If for whatever reason you like specifically want stuff sooner, just shoot me a message and we'll sort something out. But that's where we are at the moment. And then I believe we needed to try and pick the next token or something anyway, because this is still getting caught up on the 2020 stuff because of COVID. Um,
Target locks.
let's see, if I do target locks, we have to kind of match them to the old ones. And because we've done 1 to 5, I think, for the old target locks. So and I don't have the STL files for those, not STL, the vector image files for those. So I'd have to get them. I'll have to see if Kris can kind of copy them from the tokens or whatever, like just trace them or something. But I could maybe do. So I thought about doing a run of new target locks and doing 1 to 8, but maybe in symbols or something. Maybe do it in Arabesh or something.
I was just going to say, because I remember when we went to Nova Open, Aaron Utley put into my hands some of the tokens that the Nova Squadron were doing, and they were done in Arabic, but they weren't like the traditional like crosshair target locks. They were these other weird symbols. They're really cool. That would be a good idea though, if you can get them in Arabic. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think I'll have a think of something. Maybe I think I'm kind of coming up with ideas as we're going now, but yeah,
The only other thing that
maybe we'll do because I want to do 8 because obviously that's a max. You can only use 8 ships in a normal game,
Mhm.
so I'll.
The only other
Yeah,
thing that I would think of, I mean, you want to do the common ones, like the one, like that's the reason why. Well, first of all, lack of focus, that's the show.
yeah.
Focus tokens, that just like legitimately that makes easy sense. But what's the next ones that you're going to be using? You're going to be using things like target locks. You're going to be using things like stress tokens. Stress tokens wouldn't be a bad
I
idea either.
think what my original plan was is I want to hit every token, so I was going to do all the green ones, then all the orange, all the reds, and just go through
Hmm.
like that. But yeah, we'll
Well,
see.
then
I don't.
evades would be the next one.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I like the idea of target locks. Maybe get those out of the way. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Um,
Those are my favorites.
but yeah, anyway, that was the important news thing I had to talk about because obviously, um, I'd said that I was going to mail stuff off and then didn't because I was like, oh, if they start because he hadn't started cutting them, so I was like, I'll just send this off, and now he started and it went wrong, so I had to order more acrylic. So I'm like, oh, I should have sent them, but I might have committed now to not sending them. So anyway, that's enough of me whining about not giving you guys the stuff I told you I'd give you. All of the other prizes are still back here. I've got like nothing's happened to anything. Nothing's been lost in the mail. Don't worry. I'm just a shitter.
Works for me.
Yeah. So shall we just do
So
main
that
topic?
I was gonna say, so that's pretty much all of the the main topic is games we can play together because the three of us have gone through over the last within the last 3 months. I don't know when you built your PC, Kris. I think it was
So
recently.
obviously, my PC's been pretty decent since before Evie was born. I've just tinkered here and there because once I started doing this lack of focus, dice hate kind of thing, I needed something I could edit on, and if I can edit on it, I can play games on it because graphics cards work like that.
Oddly enough, how that works out now, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, because we were talking. Obviously, Ed built a new PC. Sean's just built a new PC. We've been
Hmm.
having lack of focus tech corner. It's like what we should do is compare Steam libraries and see if we actually have games already, so no one has to buy something. We can just play, so we can just because what I said to Ed about when we've done the Vassal games, I like doing them as an in focus where it's literally you just watch a video for the game, or like if you really want to listen to a VOD, you can kind of thing. But I don't know that it really works because of the amount of dead air for a podcast
Well,
format for the show.
yeah, while we're
So
plotting maneuvers and things like that.
yeah, but I think if it's some kind of rando game we're just sat playing on the PC that doesn't involve as much planning phase, that it might be a little bit more possible to have conversations and chat while we're playing. And that's not to say we're not going to be an X-Wing podcast anymore. We still are, in the same way we always were, in that we never were, but whatever. Um, but it's more like we said, we're doing a D&D thing. We're doing all this other stuff because we're not able to play X-Wing at the moment. So until the world goes back to normal, that's just how it is. But yeah, so I don't know. I thought we could go through some Steam libraries and see what we have that we can all play before we all have to like just buy Phantasmagoria or whatever it is that Ed wants to play.
Phasmophobia, because I want to hear Chris scream like a little girl. Because apparently, according to my son, that is a super like if jump scary kind of like eerie environment kind of game, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds like fun.
Well, that was. I mean, I've kind of spoiled it already because that was what it was going to. I compared it to doing the what D&D campaign shall we play show where I had 3 pitches for you and then we picked none of them. So I was like, we could go through our Steam libraries and then play the game Ed wants to play that isn't on our list.
It was a suggestion, and the genus for that is once I'm done with my Alien Isolation playthrough.
You're a
Gabe wants to.
fearless leader. We just follow you in whatever you say, and it's fine.
It was more along the lines of I want to spend more time with you guys.
Yeah.
Like the once a week on Monday night things isn't enough. I need more Sean. I need more Chris in my life. And I said, well,
No one needs more Sean. Trust me.
well, I do. I disagree with that statement wholeheartedly, vehemently, in fact. And my thought process is if this is something I'm going to be recording for my own YouTube channel anyway, why not invite the two of you if you wanted to join in? I don't need. Don't take it as I need you guys to make this happen. I don't. It's more along the lines, it's because I want to hang out and spend more time with you guys, and it's just an excuse to do so. I'm generating an excuse to hang out with you guys more often. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm in.
So
all I heard there, Sean, is that he's vetoed his own choice for our if we need a game to play when we record on a Thursday. He's vetoed his own choice. So
what this is
because he wants to do it additionally to where he'd normally hang out, so it can't be on a time we would normally hang out.
So I'm going to try not to get gushy on this one. If you guys wanted to sit down and play Tiddlywinks on Tabletop Simulator on a Wednesday night, I would be there because it would involve hanging out with you guys. So legitimately, whatever the ultimate outcome on this one is, it doesn't matter to me. It legitimately doesn't.
Yeah.
But now that you've said that, keeping in mind, I apparently have the Steam library of a 16-year-old boy, just so that we're on the same page. Because I obviously I've had a Steam account forever, but Gabe's been using my account since, I don't know, he was 11. So all of the games I have are going to be games that Gabriel has bought over the last, I don't know, 3 years.
Do you want to go to your Steam library and then go to
I'm looking at it right now.
And then do the advanced filter where it's by hours played.
By hours played.
This is pretty sad reading for me. Because it tells you how much of a fucking boomer I am. So
why can I not
you go into
this
where you've got library.
Mm-hmm.
You should have the list of games where the ones you've got installed at a minute are like white and the ones are grey.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you've got all selected.
I do.
And then in the list, you should have to the right of that where it shows your pictures. You should be able to select it, sort by hours played. It should be by.
So I see sorted.
Yeah, sort by hours. So anyway,
why am I not seeing this? This is irritating.
You have to show your screen.
That alphabetical. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, you can go by sort by recent activities. Another way to do it. Too.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right.
So my most hours played. Football Manager 2009 with 161.9 hours played.
Oh, okay.
But taking this game, that's Football Manager 2009. So let's go down to my Football Manager games. I still own Football Manager 2015 was the last one I bought, and I haven't played that as much as 2009. So,
okay, so my number 1, number 2, and number 3. Can you tell which game is Ed? Behind door number 1, Apex Legends
That's Gabe.
242 and a half hours. Blood Bowl 2 Legendary Edition, 197 hours. And Stardew Valley, 154.7 hours.
So
Which one of
you've played more Blood Bowl than I've played Football Manager. Where's my Blood Bowl? That's Blood Bowl 2, I've only got 35.7 hours.
Oh. The next ones on the list are things like Counter-Strike, Terraria, Undertale, Team Fortress 2, Among Us, 60 hours, Subnautica.
What a loser. How'd you have 60 hours in Among Us?
Not
Jesus.
me. It's not me. It's the kids, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Phasmophobia in the Forest are sitting there at tied basically at 37 hours.
So I'm surprised by this one. So my number one most played is Football Manager 2009. Then RimWorld is my number two.
Do you actually get to play? It's just you actually.
You're a manager.
You don't actually get a game. You don't
No.
actually play a game. You're managing a team, and they play the game for you.
Yeah.
Which to me sounds.
It's a sim game.
Yeah.
But it sounds boring as shit. To me. Like, I don't know.
I'm gonna add whatever the latest Football Manager game is to the table for consideration. Because you can all manage a team in the same league, and then like we can vie for players and.
That sounds like that time that me and a bunch of guys I used to work with when I was in college. I worked at McDonald's. I don't know if anyone knew this or not. I used to work. I worked my way through college working at McDonald's, and all the guys there were big Madden fans. And one day we got this great idea: we should draft the entire team, not just the key like skills players. We drafted every single position, from the kickers to the backup linebackers. We played a full 16-game season. Plus playoffs on those drafted teams. It was the most obnoxious thing I have ever done, but I was committed to it because I made it to the playoffs. So I said, damn it, I'm going to finish this.
At what point do you start drafting to deny the players to the good players rather than...
So we did that, and then around round 30, you start drafting players because they have funny names. Because you want to have Tongue and Bush in your backfield as your quarterbacks.
But
imagine trying to get 16 guys together on this. This is in Madden internet days. So you physically had to be at the house to play those games. That season took us almost a calendar year to play out.
That's
it was
obnoxious. That's good.
Well, there would be days that I would go over, like it would go weeks before I'd get a game in because you're trying to get like a game of Madden takes like, I don't know, about 35 minutes. You'd get there at 6 o'clock, but you wouldn't get to start your game until like 11 o'clock at night. And that was the whole reason. You were there for 30 minutes and then you went home.
Yeah.
The good nights are when you were in the front of the order and you were the first game. All right, I played my game. I'll see you guys next week and you're out of
there. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
It was the most obnoxious thing. That's what that game reminds me of. That's what makes me think.
So my second most played game is RimWorld with 144 hours played. My third, this is a surprising one. Squadrons. I've already played 108 hours worth of Squadrons, which isn't really a lot because I haven't played Squadrons for nearly 3 months, it feels like. But I'm surprised it's already in my top 100, which makes me a little bit sad.
It's such a good game.
Yeah. And then Battletech is over 100 hours as well, which, considering I only ever played the campaign, I mean, that must be the full playthrough of the campaign. 102 hours.
102 hours of it.
Yeah.
My top three are Terraforming Mars of 442 hours.
Wow.
Sid Meier's Civ 6, 108.9. And Gloomhaven, 13.6. And my fourth is, really my third is Surviving Mars, 204.8, but I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I'm a huge sim game guy, so I'm not a big like first person kind of guy.
So we could do something like see if it's a multiplayer in Warhammer Total War. We could play.
So So let's do this. I kind of have an idea
I'm listening.
because we're probably not going to fine tune this down to what each of us have. Let's each just suggest a game. We'll explain the game if nobody else has ever heard it, and then from there, we'll. Are we throwing it out to community vote, or what are we doing
I say we, because it's something for us to
for
play.
us?
So
Yeah,
I feel like we like the last thing I want to do is get the community to vote, us try it and go, no, this is shit, and then not do it. So I would rather us say, oh
so
no,
the
this
three
is
of us
shit, and
agree.
blame
Let's just
us.
yep,
Yeah,
three of
this
us
is
agree. So each person make a suggestion, and then because the other two will probably have to buy it most likely if we decide on that, or we each make a suggestion. We end up buying two games if we don't it doesn't cross over, and then but we don't have to buy them right away.
Yeah,
And then we have a rotation of games we can play rather than just sticking to one game.
yeah. See,
yeah,
I like. Now, do we want to go down the route of maybe even suggesting just even more in generic terms, like kind of zero in on something? So, like for example, if someone wanted to do like a real time strategy, like just the idea of like a StarCraft esque kind of game. That's something that we could do in an evening.
yeah.
Or like Sean would suggest, like those simulation games. Not that I don't love them because I do, but those could drag on for days.
Oh yeah. I think the idea of doing something like that is we play it and just record while we're playing it, and like
Yeah,
we can we can play it a different evening as well and just not record. But it's just some it's basically something that we can all do to replace the Vassal, because I think like we stopped doing Vassal when there was more than two of us because it felt bad for the people just sat not playing, and
yeah,
like they can't really talk to the other people because they're thinking. So
yeah. They
like
don't want to give the other players ideas and change ideas,
yeah.
and
So
I don't want to
it
change my
didn't
maneuver
feel
based
like
on.
good podcast content to me.
The three-player vassal is always me sitting there saying, Ed, this is what I would have done.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Look, Ed did something that Sean wouldn't have done. Why did he lose that game? Because he doesn't listen.
So
Okay, I'll start out. So I'm looking at a game that is multiplayer. It's fun. It's challenging. It's kind of a non-thinker. It's not a game where you have to put a lot. It's also a game where we could bring community into if we wanted to. It's a game called Unrailed. Unrailed.
Hmm.
It's a
let's type
side
this in.
scroller. It's a side scroller. It's the premise of the game is you're trying to get a train from stop where it starts to the stop where it would end on that leg of the trip. And in there, there's some strategy. You upgrade your train cars, you upgrade the cars, and in that you have to chop down for because you're
I
basically
see
running
it.
track. It
Yeah.
is it's a goofy. It's kind of like an Among Us type game. There's no killing each other though, but there's you have to stay on. You have to have water for the engine. You have to cut down trees for wood and to make a path for the train. You have to continually build track, which one of the cars builds, and then it puts it on a track. You have to lay track, so it's always people doing something. And then if the
Yeah.
train derails, you lose. But if you make it to the station, you can upgrade your train, go to the next. It's kind of one of those types of games where you can kind of play till you're sick of it, or set a time limit, and when you hit it, you're done. You
Yeah.
know, very beer and pretzels, but very very co-op-y type game. One person on the pickaxe, one person on the axe, one person on the water, one person laying track, or with three people, you'll have to do multiple things each, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's also
Interesting.
but it's also a game where we could bring people in from the community. I'm not sure how many players it plays up to.
Blah, blah, blah.
Hold on.
Does it
Not
say?
saying. I was gonna say it's not saying it in the requirements.
Yeah,
Like,
it's online co-op is what it says. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we
Oh,
want to make sure
okay.
that at minimum of 3 players can play it.
Oh, you can. Yeah, it's a minimum of. Yeah, it's a minimum. I've seen 4 players. I've seen 3 players play it. I remembering, but I could be misremembering. I think I've seen 5 people playing it before.
Yeah.
So there's more, or you could, if it's only 4 player, um, you bring one person in from the community that wants to come in and play, that type of thing. If you wanted to do that as a way of doing it.
Yeah.
But it's just totally beer and pretzels. It's totally, Ed, get the bucket type game, when you're getting up when your train is speeding up as you make it to more stations, things like that. So just a simple track builder that's, if we don't want to sit there and, do something too complicated, that's a good game for that.
Yeah.
And it's $20.
Yeah.
So it's not outrageously priced.
That could be. I've never heard of this game before.
Yeah, I
So,
actually saw it on a Let's Play from a comedy troupe that I follow and stuff, and they've actually done more with the game since that time. And watch a couple videos, or just watch a section. There's a video from the developer, I think, on the store page, and
Yeah.
it actually shows you how the game is played.
So, what else do we have? I'm currently filtered by multiplayer online co-op. So obviously, top of that list at the moment is Valheim, which is what Greg's been playing, but I feel like that's coming to an end in popularity and would probably make me feel a little bit sick. Um, Phasmophobia is on there. Um,
should I go into the description for my suggestion for this one?
yeah, you can break in.
Okay, so again, I've not played the game. I have only seen my son play the game. Which is half the reason why I want to play it, because it looked like it was a lot of fun. But the basic premise behind it is we would play the roles of ghost hunters. And you start off your career going into small haunted areas, a haunted house, a haunted factory. And the idea behind the game is that you go into these buildings and you try to identify what type of ghost is haunting the facility. Now, it does get a little jump scary. It does get a little. It has an interesting mechanic in the fact that you have to use the in-game mic. And the reason for it is sometimes ghosts will cut out electronics. So if Kris is trapped in a closet hiding from a ghost so it doesn't kill him, we can't hear him screaming for help because the electronics have been counted out. So the mechanics of the game is there's a truck, there's a facility truck on the outside that's got all of your equipment, and you have to buy your equipment that you're going to go in. So if you think that you're going up against X type of ghost, you need to take this piece of equipment, that piece of equipment, you need to like burn salts or you have to do all this other stuff so you can help identify. So you have to hit all of these major points to get all the clues, and then once you've collected all the clues, you close the job and you get paid for it. So you've captured the ghost. And
Gotcha.
as you progress through your levels, you get to go into higher, more advanced ghosts and more dangerous missions.
So that's kind of like the I have a PC building game that's like that. And there's a house fixing up game that I have that's like that too, where this one is of course more interactive than those two are, but same concept where you just get better jobs, better.
Right.
And
The
that
thing I
one,
like about it's teams. Like
yeah.
like we legitimately all have to work together to be able to get out of the building alive and to have identified that ghost. Plus, I have a soft spot in my heart for horror, scary survival games.
Yeah, yeah. But you want to do that on your channel, so I feel like that's going to be one we'll play. So we could maybe throw it in there anyway. But
Well, so
I've
and
already
that's
kind of
something we
said I'll
should.
play that with you anyway. So
I don't like. So I don't know that. How do I say this? I'm trying to figure the right. The fact that I would want to play that on my channel with even if with you guys, like I would rather play it with you guys if it just so happens that recording my camera but getting the two of you's audio to put on the channel, it's not uncommon for other if Kris, if you decide to record it from your end of it and we get your side of it and my side of it, because the mic's cut out,
Mm.
There are I'm never going to hear your side of the whole side of the story from your stuff, just like you're never going to hear the whole side of the story from my stuff. So it would be kind of cool to kind of have both of those going. But that having been said, the fact that I was hoping to stream and record that game, I don't want that to be a contributing factor to it because I could just as easily pick a different game. There's other games that are on my list. If it comes down to it's our game that we're playing together, I would pull that off my list on what goes on YouTube and just pick something else. Like
Mm.
there are other like I want to play Bloodstain is the next game. I would just move on to my next game.
Yeah.
Well, I just bought it, so I'm good.
Well, that's it.
Sean's like,
We're
"Too
gonna
late, I'm
play
buying it."
it. We're gonna play it for Ed's channel anyway because it needs content. Bless his soul.
And if it's okay, Gabe would like to join us. You can have up to 5 people, I think, on the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So
Yeah, we'll have to talk about how to stream stuff or so that I could cast it to you so you could see, have it pictured, each window, like like what we have now, but with the window of what's playing. You'd have to explain all that to me, but that's
Yeah.
not that big of a deal, really.
yeah.
Or we could start a dice hate. What the hell is it? What is that?
Network.
Yeah, like a dice hate network. God damn it! What is it?
I'd put your tag on my shit anytime.
Well, my point is like, why can't I think of it? What's hold on. I'll tell you here.
Buffering.
Yeah, Twitch. You can do it like a
Twitch,
Twitch
yeah.
channel.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
We could do a Dice Hate Twitch channel for gaming, and then whether we have 0 people watching or 50 people watching doesn't matter. That's our channel to play games together, and you could actually do the live streams. You guys would just have to help me set my stuff up so that I can cast to whatever we're doing.
That's a
Yeah.
damn fine idea.
I mean, I don't watch that much Twitch. I watch more YouTube than Twitch, but I think Twitch is pretty cool.
Well, and that's why I wanted to go both routes. So, like, again, when I do my Alien Isolation playthrough, the only thing that's been cool for streaming it on Twitch and recording it so that I have the YouTube side of it, you can watch it on the YouTube channel, and then you can watch it live on Twitch, is I get people that jump into the room while I'm playing. So I get some of that interaction and talking back. I've gotten followers on Twitch that found my YouTube channel because they saw me playing on Twitch.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool because I was expecting the cross population to come from the other direction. People that follow me on YouTube just
I think
follow.
it actually comes from Twitch to YouTube faster.
And that's what I'm picking up on because
people search the game that they want to watch, and then that's how I do it. If I want to watch a game, I don't have many people that I follow on Twitch, maybe 15, but I think that that'd be a great way for us. We can bring more people in and prop Dice 8 up and prop your channel up at the same time. And
I'm right on
I
board
ever
with
do
that.
this, prop mine up and whatever.
I'm right on board with that.
So you guys just have to tell me what to buy and stuff, and I'll.
I don't think you need to buy anything. Like OBS, you can stream for it from OBS, and then a Twitch account's
I think
free.
he's talking about what game to buy, was it? Or just in general?
No. I'm talking about just hardware. If I need capture stuff or anything like that.
No. You have enough multiple screens. You can have OBS on one screen and the other game on the other one.
I have a screen that's so big I could have 3 screens on the screen if I want to.
The only thing that I do with OBS, there's a way that you can set it up so that you can see your Twitch chat on your OBS screen. That's the only it's a setting. That's it.
Yeah, we can go through it all. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, we can figure it out, test it, and go from there. And then because mine is easily good enough to do all of that, your 2s are. So the only thing I don't have that you have is the power of video card. But actually, my video card is closer to yours, Ed, than it is to.
Well, and the I don't know if you looked at the requirements in the game. The requirements, you can play it almost on a potato. The catch is just going to be your CPU, and if you have enough threads to stream and play at the same time, which is why I chose the AMD processor that I did, is because it's got 16 threads.
Yeah, mine has 8, or 12, I think. I can't remember. It's the 10,000 series Microsoft or whatever.
The Intel. That's the i9.
Yeah. This one's an i7. I think
That's still good. That should still that's a more recent processor with enough threading and processing power. You should be fine.
It's fine.
yeah,
I was streaming on the i7 before I upgraded start of last year, I think. So I
yeah.
just
It's a
letting Poppy out
i7
because she was.
i7 10700. So
Yeah, no, that's more than sufficient.
yeah, and I have
My
enough RAM to do anything I ever would need to.
so you'd be surprised how you haven't you have the same amount of RAM that I do. You have 32, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you should be more than good there.
yeah. And
You'd be
that's
surprised though, like mostly me, whenever I'm streaming, recording, and playing game at the same time, it's all CPU, baby.
oh
Like
yeah,
my RAM usage is really, really low. It's all GPU for the graphics and it's all CPU for pushing all that out.
yeah. And I have a 2070 Super, which is
That'll be fine.
basically a 3070, just last year's, with last year's specs.
Yeah,
Phasmophobia is on sale, Chris. I just want to throw
Yeah, I just bought
yeah,
it. So
it's
I've seen
only
it.
$14. I just want to throw that out there.
I've seen it. I said we're gonna play that one. It's more of if that's the one we play for this project.
Well, all right. So I have a selfish reason for wanting it to be for this project because I know you said that you don't do well with scary games, and I personally just want to see the.
But we're gonna do it anyway. Yeah.
All
yeah,
right,
you
so
got to play in the dark and light some candles and
yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be great. Gabe said he'd be more than he's not going to spoil things for us, but he's going to be more than happy to guide us through and say, okay, this is how you do. Click this button. It's that kind of stuff that I think will need help in the early days. But after that, I think it'll be fun, just pure fun. All right, so Chris, now it's your suggestion.
So I've got one that I'll suggest, even though I know we probably shouldn't do it because I don't know if it's the type of game you guys will want to play. But obviously, it's something like Monster Hunter World, just team up and fight big monsters. But it's more of a console flashy kind of game.
Yeah, I was wondering if we would. So one of the other games. So admittedly, if we're going to use Phasmophobia as a default, I was curious how you guys would feel about something like a Diablo or like a dungeon crawl mashing bashing kind of game.
I almost suggested Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr, which is effectively 40k Diablo.
Ooh, let me see that. What is that again?
Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr.
Inquisitor. Ooh, that's a $50 game too. Look at that.
I already own it, so I'm good. Screw you
You're
guys.
good.
I'm gonna put forward the most expensive game I can.
Well, all right, but you've tickled my heart because it's a 40K game, and then I just legitimately just got done saying the words. How cool would it be to do like a dungeon masher kind of game?
what's it called?
Inquisitor Martyr. I'll see if I can
I see
actually link it.
If you just type in Warhammer
Yeah, I
four
already got
zero,
it. I got it. Yeah, I'm there.
oh hell yes!
And the good thing about Inquisitor Martyr is that it's not exactly like it's taxing on the brain because it's Diablo but 40k. So you just right click, you like right click on stuff, and it dies. And why we can do that while we're chatting about crap.
Do I get to play a Space Marine?
No,
As it's all Inquisitors.
yeah. So I think my character at the moment's like a cowardice
Hey, some of
assassin.
this video I see Mechanicus in here. What the hell is that, Chris?
I've not
I'm messing
played
with
the current story arc as well. So the way it's like a living game as well. So all the community plays and the results dictate how the sector goes, kind of thing. But pretty cool. And they sent me a golden skull challenge.
Oh, that was this game.
Yeah.
Oh, oops! I just downloaded it.
Oops. I need to change the accounts because I don't want to
So
charge these.
are we all just gonna buy each other's games and just we'll rotate? Is that how this is gonna work?
Well, I think that's if we're gonna do it, that's the way to do it.
So what was your
Agree.
one called again, Sean? Unrailed?
Unrailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $20.
Yeah, okay. So do We'll get Unrailed.
Another one to play if you want a dungeon crawl type is Gloomhaven. It's gotten a lot better in the beta.
I've not actually looked at any of the like board game Steam games, if that makes sense.
I have tons of them. I have tons of the games because my game group plays the board games on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So
So I was going to ask about that because the only problem with putting something like that on is I feel like we end up with the same issues as if we were doing like the Vassal stream. That because people are thinking on their turn, you get that.
well,
But
kind of,
I don't know. I don't have as
kind
much
of.
experience.
If you're I play with a guy which I don't. This isn't putting him down, but he has ADD, so he has issues with like clicking the button that you need to move your turn along and stuff. But no, we actually have pretty good conversation throughout the game.
Yeah.
It's because it's not a game that you're playing, to ultimately, kill everything. You're there to have fun, and it is a game designed though where you don't have table talk. In Gloomhaven, if you've ever played the board game, read the rules of Gloomhaven, it's a game designed to have minimal table talk as far as what you're going to do in the game, but those are the best games just to bullshit through, because you have your cards, you play your cards, and it's a card game, so you move everything in attack and everything with cards. It's you do have to know how to play the game too. There is strategies, so
Yeah.
and you have to know your tune and know the cards. And right now it's still in early access, which sucks because it's not the full game and everything is shared right now. But once it comes out of early access and it's just like the board game, it's like whatever gold you pick up, so there's some intrigue to it too, where people are screwing other people over for some stuff too. So it's a pretty cool game overall, but not one we'd have to play in the beginning,
Yeah.
just one that's down the road. But I have a lot of the board games in my Steam account.
So what was that
They even got Astartes right. I'm sorry, I'm getting stuck on watching some of these videos, but like Astartes look like Astartes. Like they're 7.5 foot tall murder machines, like they should be.
It's good.
Was that Warhammer game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Are we playing that then?
I'd be for it. I mean, I like Diablo, so I'm not a huge Warhammer lore guy, but
I don't know that you would need to be though. Like just look at
I'm just saying it's a game that'll interest me, and I'm playing with you guys, and we can BS through the whole thing. So
Yeah.
if I get any character that shoots laser beams like the wizard does in Diablo 3, I'm good.
Well, you get bolt guns. They're basically RPGs. Like a bolt shell from a bolt rifle is basically a small rocket propelled grenade. It's not just a bullet. But you got laser guns, you got all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah. No, I'm up for it. I'm up for most things. First person shooters.
It's not a first definitely.
I thought about suggesting some Space Hulk Deathwing because I know that's got co-op in it. You all play a Terminator, but I know Sean doesn't really like first person shooters.
Remember, I just bought this monitor, and it has helped me with the first person stuff. It's just I'm not a first person guy. I'm not a WSD ASD kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm literally a controller or mouse click kind of guy. So that's just me. That's just how most first person shooters always did the WASD keys, which it took me like when I played some PUBG and stuff, and pretty much sucked because I couldn't figure the keys out.
I understand completely.
But it's
Kris, I don't know. This looks really good.
Well, we do that, and I'm like I said, I already own it, so it doesn't bother me how much it costs.
Well, and I already own it now, so I'm good.
No, in the morning I'll switch account. So let's talk schedule. How are we going to do this? Because is it going to replace podcast time, or is it going to be
so
separate?
I'm up for doing it separately. because I like hanging out. But my
Mhm.
thought was to have something that we could all just jump on and play when we didn't really have any, like tonight, where we didn't really have a topic. We could have all been playing that. And we could have still had the same chat about what we've been up to whilst we're playing.
Yeah,
'Cause-
your show is within the gameplay at that point.
Yeah, because I don't feel like we could have actually had the if we'd have played a Vassal game tonight, I don't think we would have had like the hour and a half's conversation and like the tangents. I feel like it's very. I've edited both, if you know what I mean. I know how much we talk when we're not playing and how much we talk when we do. And like, there's a chance that we play and it really doesn't work and we're all focused and all of the like 2 hours worth of show is us all shouting at each other that we're all dying and we're all shit. There's a chance that that becomes a show, and if I feel like it's not working, we can just keep playing and
Well,
not record it.
well,
But
one of the things that this offers, though, if we do it live, we actually do it live on, and you guys can record it like you do for for the podcast stuff, because you could
yeah,
each record it and record your own side of it for your material. But if we have we have the chat going, that actually adds to it too, because the chat actually throws that side into it
yeah,
where you can answer the questions, talk about things, and basically build the community more around that too.
yeah,
Right, and if it's like one of those mindless, "Hey, we've got to clear these 4 rooms," I can carry on a conversation and click buttons and kill stuff at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like I've played, I've not played that many hours of it just because I got it. I think it's been out for like 2 or 3 years now, but I got it at a time when Evie was like being born. So I know if I got it in. Oh, that's my last played was in December.
and you're sure that this is multiplayer, that we can all 3 play together?
I believe you have to do the tutorial solo, like the first chapter solo, but it's where's it gone? I'm looking in my library, not the store page.
Yeah, it says online co-op.
Yeah, I know that was a big part of it, but I've never done it, so
Oh, and it has controller support too, which is good. But if it's mouse, it's easier.
yeah.
I agree. But of
Um,
course, Chris comes down with the biggest price tag one and says, "Yeah, we're gonna
I
play this one."
I didn't want to suggest that. You said Diablo, and I was like, well.
Well, it'd be the same. Like I think even Diablo 2, like before they've got the new remastered version that's going to be coming out. Blizzard's announced that it's probably
Yeah,
going to be the same price tag anyway. But this is something
Oh,
different that I've
PvP
never
online
played.
co-op. Yeah.
you could buy it all for $80.
Hmm. That's all the DLC too.
There's a lot there, isn't there?
Oh yeah, 20.
There you go. I'd have to buy a bunch of DLC that I apparently don't have.
Yeah, I'm good with just starting with the base game and
Yeah.
then
Yeah, same here. Like I don't want to
Yeah,
commit.
let's see if we actually like it. But yeah, so I assume all of this is them adding in different parts of this because it's set in a sector of space. I don't obviously Sean doesn't know. In fact, I can show you because I have the canvas print that they sent me. I
Ooh.
have to take it off a wall though.
well, I know little bits and pieces because I've learned it because
In the
Through osmosis, so
Tabanara subsector, you see, look at that.
look at
So
that.
that's where it's set, and then like you basically travel around to different parts of the system and do different missions, and they've got different difficulty levels, and you get loot and upgrade your weapons and all of that.
yeah, I played Forbidden Stars, so I know a tiny bit. I know that that's not the same thing, but it's still Space Marines and all that crap. But they have the map and stuff, so I understand the warp
So
chaos and
before we
all.
commit, I'll just oh good.
But I like the gameplay already because it's
Yeah.
like Diablo.
How good is Inquisitor Meta multiplayer? It's Inquisitor Meta. It's called Reddit top button. There we go.
Well, it's a hefty game, that's for sure. 26 gigabytes.
Yeah. Apparently, there's prophecies. What the hell's that? Is that going to be a cheaper way to do it?
Sean's already paid for it. Now I'm committed.
I just want to
Shit.
see if it's a standalone game or not. So,
What,
Warhammer
this one?
40,000 Inquisitor Prophecy is. Oh, sorry, it's part of the same thing. So yeah, it's like WoW expansions, I assume.
You're talking about the DLC?
Yeah, it looks like it's
Yeah, it'll be
not
similar.
DLC. It's a proper expansion for it.
Yeah,
So
the Civ 6 does that too, where they have like the leader packs and then they have expansions where it adds to the game. You know, like from the base game to a little more you can add in, but you can just play the base game still.
Yeah, I'm watching a YouTube video from like a year ago, and you can have up to 4 players.
yeah,
Oh, that's perfect.
yeah.
So you can do
I've
three of
not done any
us.
research into it because I got it just to have a mindless game to play when I was in a mood with playing Elite. I was out of playing League of Legends for a while, and then I was like, I just want something I can put on, do one mission, turn back off, kind of thing. But yeah, this will be fun.
Yeah, I'm home run, Chris. Thanks.
Make you spend money.
I like the cheeky beer and pretzels games, but I like games like this too, where there's a little depth to it and stuff.
Yeah, besides, I got Biden bucks coming.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why it doesn't bother me to buy this stuff.
Yeah, well, let's
My
try
favorite thing
and
is when I
play.
can say that I'm doing it on solar power. That'll be the best time.
There you go.
So, what about we try? Obviously, we're recording on a Saturday to peek behind the curtain rather than a Thursday. We could try for Thursday this week for a test run at it, like not worry about streaming or whatever. See if we can just get the game running and stuff first.
Well, if you're correct, we need to get through that first chapter on our own.
I think so.
So
I think so.
I'll do that tomorrow. I got nothing going on. I took the week off after this surgery. So
as well, you should.
yeah, well, I'm supposed to take like a month, but I'm like, I can type in a computer. I'll just bandage it up like I've been doing.
Yeah, but I'll watch some YouTube stuff as well to make sure I know what I'm supposed to be doing, so that I can tell you all the correct stuff and what buttons to click. But from memory, it's very Diablo. Just
That's cool.
If
Right.
I can just click on things and make them get eviscerated with a bolt gun, I'm happy.
Yeah. But I believe so. I'm pretty sure if I need to make a new character, I will. That's fine. I'm pretty sure my character at the moment was a cowardice assassin, which is I go invisible and have phase swords and just chop people up. That was my shtick.
They've got jump pack marines. Oh my god. So the video that I'm watching, they're obviously fighting. They're fighting chaos. So they've got chaos space marines. They've got demon spawn that they're fighting against. This is so cool. How did this game avoid my radar? Like, how is that possible?
I don't know. I'm sure I would have told you about it. Like,
was this a Kickstarter game?
No, I kind of remember. I think it was advertising like White Dwarf or something. So it was probably when Ed was doing magic and not worried about Games Workshop stuff.
Maybe.
It's some Polish company, I think. I can't remember. I think but I don't even remember how I paid for it or backed it, because I know that it was like I got sent a Steam link. I didn't buy it on Steam. But I did it.
Yeah.
If I did it through a website, and that's it. I actually bought all the stuff, and I got into the beta and alpha testing stuff. So I played it before it came out, and then did it again. So I think I even actually might have some gameplay on my YouTube channel. It's really, really bad. Or else I've got videos that are half edited and never put out.
Yeah, I've only backed actually one game, like one video game, and it's a game called Space Haven. It's only single player though, but
Yeah.
it's a pretty fun game actually. I just got to sit down and play it and relearn it and stuff because it's still in alpha, but it's a fun game.
So, not that this should influence the decision whatsoever at all, because the idea, of course, is that we're all going to hang out and have fun and play a game. It doesn't matter. But there's only 4 channels right now on Twitch that are currently streaming this game.
Oh, it's
Which,
because it's a relatively older game now.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, there's a lot of channels like so I play Minecraft. I don't know if you guys play it at all, but
the kids have drugged me into a game from time to time. Yes.
so I play, but
I've
I
got no
play
idea how Minecraft works. So, but we could put Minecraft on the list, and you can show me.
Oh my
Minecraft is
god,
the simplest
old
game.
guys play Minecraft. That would be a great channel.
I play a version called Feed the Beast Beyond, which is an older version of the modded Minecraft. So you can do nuclear power plants, solar panels, all kinds of shit in it. You know, you can build just whatever you kind of want. You can build it. It has power supplies. It's insane. And I think that would be a cool one later on, you know, as we get into this and to play because everybody's involved. You know, the key is, and because that's a game where you're going to do your own thing, Chris will do his own thing, I'll do my own thing, but we're all involved in one thing. You know,
Yes.
we're building a base, or we're gathering the materials, or we build a backpack and we go flying, or we, you know, just all kinds of shit you can do with it. That's very interactive for everybody. You know, that's why I like the Unrailed game because it's going to be interactive for everybody. This
Yeah,
game will be interactive for everybody. The
yeah,
Phasmophobia will be cool because it has that sound block feature to it. You know,
Yeah, that is gonna be fun. So, Chris, just to make sure I get schedule idea, and the only reason because I'm trying to think ahead of how this is gonna work. So, if we did this on our off recording days, correct? You'd be thinking like every other Thursday. So we would record the show on a Thursday night, but on the off Thursday nights, we would hop on and play this.
yeah. That works for me. We can play more or less or whatever. I'm pretty flexible, to be honest. Obviously my
It's not
Monday
a
nights are pretty full. I could
it's
probably
not a
ditch
question
those
of being
losers, so right, it should be okay.
it's not a
Uh,
question of being flexible. It's being a question of how many wife points can I spend
no,
during the
no, I
course
get
of the
that.
week.
So I like Sean will probably veto Wednesdays for his other group.
Mhm.
I don't really have a night that I need to veto other than Mondays, but that's what you guys anyway.
Well, the only thing
So
reason I mentioned it because if I had to pick a night that would be the best night of the week for me, it would always be Saturday nights.
let's do that.
yeah, I mean, I can't guarantee I'll do every Saturday night because it might land
We don't have
on
to.
date
That's
night.
the
But
whole.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
point of this. It's
I mean,
supposed to be just.
Well, and the other thing is, if one of us can't make it, you still have two people playing.
yeah, yeah. So what about if we go for? Where are we? So it'd be Thursday the 18th to try and we'll all jump on and see. Even if it's just hang out while we get characters leveled to a point where we can play multiplayer or whatever.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Because I'll actually look into if I need to make a new character or not, or how it works and stuff.
All right. So now I got to look into my Steam account and see if I've got to change cards that I can do that. I feel bad because he's starting to save money up, so he has gas money and stuff like that. And I wouldn't want to accidentally spend his cash. It's really mine that I've given him for cleaning up dog shit in the yard.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, did you really want to play this Star Wars game? This 40k game was? Yeah, cool, good. You bought it.
Well, because I'm curious if that's the next thing that comes out. That I'm gonna. That's the only thing that drives me nuts about modern gaming in Steam is that. So we do have 2 Steam accounts.
Yeah.
It would be that if Gabe wanted to play, that's another $50 to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I had 3 World of Warcraft accounts, that was pretty vicious.
Yeah. We could play Eve Online, and then we just mine enough to buy Plex, and then it
Oh
costs us
god.
nothing.
And then we'll be
We could.
done playing the game
I
when I'm
mean, just think about
60.
how much time we'd have to talk because we'd just be mining.
Oh, that's just it. Minecraft is literally mindless gaming.
Yep.
All right, I'm taking my Civ 6 turns, but it's literally just mindless stuff that you're doing. But we come up with a plan at the beginning. Hey, we're going to do this tonight for our for our 2 hours or whatever we plan for. We're going to do this, and Kris says, "Oh, hey, I'm going to go do this." Sean says, "I'm going to go do this." Ed says, "I'm going to go do this," and
Yeah.
then gather the resources, and then get into the whatever we're building, whatever we're doing. We want a bunch of glass. You got to go mine a bunch of sand and then burn it and turn it to glass. Just so much. You want to build a Stirling generator for power. You got to gather the mats. One person mines underground. It's just it's insane. And I love the Feed the Beast version of it, which is nice. Once you have Minecraft, the Feed the Beast is free. It's through Curse Gaming now. So you just have the mod and then set your RAM for use on that to 12, and you'll never lag. You won't have issues. Because if you have 32, you're not going to have issues at all with
Yeah.
that.
I think
You'll be able to.
I've got 64, so I'm okay.
Yeah, you could stream and do everything.
Just a casual
Baller.
flex,
Look at this.
But yeah, that's the thing about it is just you can just always do other things. So,
Yeah.
but I like the idea of having rotation of games.
Yes, yeah,
So do I.
I think it'll be fun.
And
I thought it would be a good show for us to do tonight because we didn't really have any X-Wing to talk about because the packs aren't out yet. So what do you want to do? And then, yeah, I mean, we got decent feedback from when we did this kind of show about D&D. So yeah, it should be fine.
It'll be interesting.
yeah, I think so.
And of
Yeah.
course, if there's any of the, there'll be it is a 4-player game, so we could always add one
Yeah.
more person.
I mean,
Yeah,
don't spend $50 until you've heard us play it a few times.
Yes. Please wait on that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't jump in feet first and then be like, oh no.
Oh god, they hate it. I spent $50 in the game I don't want to play.
Yeah. But no, I'm good.
I've done that many times with people. So
Yeah.
buy a game
In
and
the beginning,
and then you
legends
never
of
play it
flying
again.
men's.
Yeah. That'll be good. Yeah, so anything else for main topic? I think we all put a game forward, so we'll probably all do all of them at some point.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm enamored now. Like I'm like, oh god, I can't wait to not like I'm gonna be have to. For me, it's always going to be have to kick the kids off the computer so I can actually sit down and play. That's the reason why like all the kids games are also. I spent all of this money and focus on building this machine that I barely ever touch because the kids are always on it. That's why I'm like, why need Saturday nights whenever I have an evening that we can stay up a little bit later? I don't have to worry about going to work the next day because God forbid we get into like some kind of like end game dungeon or something at like 11:30 on a Thursday night, and all right, it's 2 hours of my time, and I got to go to work the next day.
I can play on Saturdays as well. Obviously, I'm pretty easy. I'm
Cheap. Don't forget
I'll
cheap.
never commit to a weekend religiously just because I like
God,
having
no.
some freedom. You know,
well, and it's like
because then I'd turn into Ed.
Ed.
I'd be the new Ed, like, oh my, I was gonna turn up, but then I decided, fuck you guys, I was just gonna chill out with Jill and watch Netflix and screw you guys, it's fine.
Totally understand. Totally understand. And like I said, as summer gets around and hopefully as this COVID thing starts to simmer down, there might be Saturday night plans that like, I can't play tonight because we're going X, Y, or Z.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, so should we close out the show? Are we done?
Oh yeah, I think we should probably do that. So, all right. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope it was a lot of fun. We covered a whole bunch of topics: Kathleen Kennedy, Geode, the D&D campaign where Ed's character must suffer, and we've got all of, and now we're going to be playing 40k on some sort of version of 40k Diablo that I didn't know existed until 5 minutes ago, and now I'm going to be obsessed with because, like, oh my god, this looks so cool. So I do hope you enjoyed all that, Chris. I know you have some house cleaning to do. Why don't you go ahead and take care of that?
Yep. So you can email us at lackoffocuspodcast@gmail.com. Remember, you can support us on Patreon. We try and only encourage people to give like the minimum amount, or um, don't overextend yourselves, anything like that. Like, we still do the content, even this, like, nothing's hidden behind a paywall. I feel like that's a correct statement. Oh no, I think when I would do X-Wing videos on the YouTube channel, I think I've paywalled an audio version of some of those videos just in case.
Mm.
But like, so no, nothing's paywalled. You can just listen to a YouTube video as audio. It's fine. You don't have to watch it. Um, and yeah, we're still going to make the content, but it does all help. It covers the costs of all the editing software, all the hosting, all of that. All of the stuff we send out is basically covered out of pocket, and then obviously we are doing our charity guest the points where we give. So it's actually going to be the Patreon money from this show is what is going to go to
Ooh.
charity. So I will put a post up on our Patreon and on our Facebook page for how much that's going to be, and then we'll figure out um how much it is and all that, and who wins, and then they'll get to pick the charity. Um, Speaking of our Facebook page, that's Lack of Focus Podcast on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram, even though I told you all last time that I'm really active on Instagram. I take lots of pictures, and I've done nothing since then because apparently I'm still a liar. A
Yeah,
liar.
yeah. Breakdown, and I thank you, by the way, because having attachment to Instagram, and I was like, oh wow. Do you know that the not Curiosity, what's the name of the new probe on Perseverance, thank you, has its own Instagram account, and I've been following that, and I'm like, so if nothing else, Hubble's got its own, NASA's got its own, SpaceX has got its own, but when Perseverance got it, like, they're putting like photos every day live from the Mars feeds, which is amazing. I'm waiting until I think the drone goes up on the 19th, and I'm really looking forward to seeing video from the air from Mars on Perseverance's Instagram account. So thank you for that, Chris. This is now my new thing. I can do my astronomy geeky crap and go, oh look, new picture from Mars. Look at that.
So, and first time in a long time, we did video for this episode.
We did. We
We did
absolutely did.
video. You can make yourself physically ill by watching us talking about all of this stuff. So head on over to the Dice Hate YouTube channel, and you can find us there. I have been doing more writing again. So the new contrast paint article came out on the Sentry Boxes blog today, so it should be out on Dice Hate in a couple of days. So by the time you listen to this, if you go to dicehate.com, there'll be a new article about using contrast paint to do weird and wonderful stuff on Nurgle Demons. But I plan on trying to write more articles. I'm in the hole for that, so I need to write 52 articles this year. I'm going to do one a week, and I think I've done like 3, so I've got to get a
Ooh.
shufty on. But it'll be
How's your
fun.
model count doing?
I'm behind by 16 models at the moment because I had a bit of a break after the last batch. Sean's models should, if I theoretically, I'd normally paint on weekends, but Joe's working this weekend, so I can't. But she's off on Tuesday. So depending on how much I can squeeze into Tuesday, that would have been over 2 days kind of thing. It'll all work out. But I would say that I will be 100% caught up again by the 28th of March. So that weekend I'll be back up to where I need to be for my model count. Because again, I'm trying to paint one model a year. One model a year. Done. Easy. One model a day through 2021. And 52 articles, I believe. And then I didn't put a total for YouTube videos because I can't commit to too many things and fail because I'll just feel too bad.
Yep.
Um,
Understood.
sounds like theoretically you might want to head over to Dice 8 on Twitch as well. Maybe. Because there is a Twitch
Maybe.
channel. Just saying.
Just saying.
Just
Maybe.
saying.
Maybe.
So,
Starting in a week
what
or two,
are we?
we might start playing some Warhammer Inquisitor Martyr
Yeah,
on
so
the Dice 8 Twitch channel.
Thursday the 18th
I'll
is where we're
simulcast on
gonna.
mine too
Yeah,
if you only want to see
that's
my side
fine.
of it.
What are we doing? The 18th, we are gonna try to have a play round and make sure it works. So that means the first Saturday will be like the 20th. Saturday the 20th of March, we're gonna try and do a stream maybe.
That sounds like a plan.
Okay, there we go, we're in. We're locked in now. We
Locked
can
in.
play some Inquisitor Martyr. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know. What do I normally say? All of the stuff.
I think you did the
I think,
Facebook, Gmail, all that stuff.
yeah,
I think you got all that stuff out.
we did it.
All right. Always good talking to you, my friend Sean. Hope you're feeling better.
Well, just takes time. I have 2 wounded hands, a bad back. What's next? Well, the back again at some point. So.
I was just gonna say I'm glad. Yeah, that's coming next.
Yep. But hey, I bought a recliner. So
Good.
And I bought one that it's an old person recliner, so it comes up, so I don't have to sink into it. I just follow it down.
Yay.
So excited about that. So we'll see.
Kris, always good talking to you, my friend.
Always good to be here. Especially when you other guys have to buy video games, because I won.
Kris cost me money tonight. That's what he did.
Yeah, you can win Neptune's Pride now. I'll throw that game. It's fine. You had to spend $50. I won.
You won in the end. All right, so that is going to do it for episode 72. I do hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see everyone hopefully in the Twitch sphere as we're sitting down playing some Warhammer. It'll be great. So until next time, guys, as always, fly casual. Thank you once again for joining the Lack of Focus X-Wing podcast. Check out Dice Hate Productions for all the latest episodes, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again next episode.